Okay, it's time to commit. 2024 is the year for prioritizing yourself. Begin your new smile journey with Byte, and you could start seeing results in just 2 to 3 weeks. Just order your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95 at Byte.com. Byte clear aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces. Plus, they offer financing options, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
This episode is brought to you in part by Purina. Purina is dedicated to creating richer lives for pets and the people who love them. From helping older pets think like their younger selves to making cat ownership a possibility for more people than ever, Purina is helping pets thrive so they can live long, healthy, and happy lives. Purina has you covered for all your furry friends' needs, whether they meow or bark. From litter to treats to their best-in-class, nutrient-packed food with taste your pets will love, Purina's got your back at every stage of your pet's life. Your pet gives you the joy of the spring sunshine all year round. So today and every day, care for your pet with Purina. Your pet is Purina's passion. To learn more, head to Amazon.com/Purina.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of June 4th, 2024. It has been such a fucking hot day in Texas already. Commish, you said 117.
Set a record. We broke the record that we set last year at 116.
We got to 109 today. It was just an absolute sweat pouring down me today, driving my kid back. It was awful.
Help. It's only June 4th. Help.
John, what did you say it was in Canada today?
In Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, I'll even convert to American units for you guys. 57 degrees and raining. I'm in a golf tournament on Tuesday, and it's going to be 78 American, and that to me, that's like perfection. Like, you know what? Like, as much as I am very Canadian, I hate the cold. I hate winter. I hate all that. It's the only ice that needs to be around is for a curling rink. So, but like I cannot imagine living where it's like triple digits starting in June.
Yeah.
I would have to pack like 3 pairs of shorts where I go anywhere just because of the swass.
Yeah. Well, as always, I'm Jordan. With me tonight, I have Commish, Joey, and special guest John Fraser. John, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I am an absolute fan of everything you guys do, the podcast, the social media, the chaotic way we look at football and sports and all that. So it's an absolute pleasure for me. You guys can laugh, but I was actually legitimately nervous about coming on here tonight. I normally on my own podcast, the 3 Down Greencast, I normally just get drunk and shout out shitty takes. But I actually did prep for you guys. I did prep. I polled people. I am ready to go. And then I'm going to drink 2 craft beers and forget about it all.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
You mentioned, I just wanted to say, you reminded me of when I went to the PWHL first game in this capacity. And I went and I was so nervous. I was like actively shaking in the media room because I was like, I don't belong here. It's this like my media badge says Sickos. Everyone's gonna think I'm a dipshit. And then the one guy comes up and goes, "Dude, you're from the Sickos committee? I love your guys' stuff." And I was like, What? I'm just my imposter syndrome was very much attacked in that moment, and I didn't know how to react.
well, Joey, I can tell you there was hearts in my eyes when I saw the camera come on and saw your sweaty, sexy body.
Thank you. I will say, I have terrible news for the podcast. I am no longer young and beautiful. I'm now washed. I turned 25 in January, and now today I officially lost my youth powers because I had Little Caesars for the second time in a week, and it really hit me.
Yep. Welcome to old, Joey.
I am officially no longer young.
Yeah, next thing you know, Joey, you're going to have 2 beers on a weeknight and feel like shit for the next week.
Enjoy, John. Enjoy.
Or you start making those sounds when you stand up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The dad sounds 100%.
Well, Joe, I'm guessing that's how you're doing, Joey. Is that how you're doing?
Today was rough. Today was unexpectedly rough.
From 2 days of Little Caesars, making dad noses when he gets up.
Yeah.
He's a little sweaty. Joey, I don't. Here. I'm gonna be giving you a hug.
Thank you.
It's not me showing off my Boise State T-shirt I'm wearing across.
That's right.
I thought you were showing off your guns. That's what I thought was going on there.
Oh no, I have the camera angle specifically. There's a new feature I found on StreamYard that's like you can click it and it says make your appearance better.
Oh, yeah, touch up. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't do that. So otherwise, yes, I would be more muscular and sweaty.
Commish,
But like oily sweaty.
Commish, how are you? Besides, also hot as well.
It's good. The kiddos got 2 days of school left. Just enjoying the air conditioning and pray it never gives out. Really just looking forward and kind of excited for this podcast. I know John he said he was a little nervous for this one, but I'm excited for this because this is kind of like a show that we do every now and then. We do like some special episodes, so this is kind of like a special episode, I would say. And we did one last year about the CFL in the USA, the expansion with our friend Ryan Nanny from the Shutdown Fullcast, which was a lot of fun. And this one, we watched a lot of CFL last year, a ton of it on the account, and we try to promote it in the fun way it is because we love the game. And just like the differences in the game, like, the 2 and outs, it being able to score points on punts, which we really love that. That's huge. And then just really kind of excited to go over this and kind of get a little season preview for me. And personally, I don't necessarily have a favorite team yet.
You will after tonight.
Okay.
You will after
right.
tonight.
So I'm looking for one. I'm a big fan of the color green. And so Saskatchewan has always been calling me, but I've been reserved to not be called to Saskatchewan. So
we kind of adopted Edmonton last year, but I'm sure we're all still free agents.
Just to get him over the hump.
There too.
There is green in Edmonton.
Yes.
There is, but there's also the Chris Jones factor, who just keeps retreading the same guys and is generally a bit of an asshole. So, I was in the media for a lot of years, right? Like, I don't know the guy personally. I've heard some stories, but I hated dealing with him. So I can't, in good conscience, put you guys behind the Edmonton Elks.
In my notes under the Edmonton Elks, I didn't do a ton of notes because I didn't have a ton of time. I do apologize. And I also knew that you did a ton of notes. I was like, John's got me.
Oh, I did way too many.
John's got me. But under Edmonton, I just wrote coached by the notoriously flaky Chris Jones. That's basically the only note I have for them.
No, coached by, Chris Jones, the one and only, who, if you offer him $1 more, he'll leave you just like he left those high school kids brokenhearted in the middle of the season to come back and be a defensive consultant. The other thing I was surprised, Commish, you didn't mention with, of course, you can score on punts.
Yes.
They didn't change the rule for the onside punt.
I know. I wanted to bring that up later when we talk about the glorious Montreal Alouettes, but that's their play. So
that's if you want a chaotic fun team, those might be your guys. So by the end of this,
we'll figure it out.
We'll all recap our favorite teams. We'll have it figured out.
And hopefully hopefully Beth and Pitt Girl will arrive when they can today.
They will. So John, what's your background in general, just for our folks that don't know who you are?
Oh, okay. So for me, I spent most of my life between radio and the car business. I was a sports reporter here in Saskatoon covering the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I was the play-by-play voice of the Saskatchewan Rush. Now I'm back as color commentator, so more obscure sports, lacrosse for you. I've been around the CFL. I was the co-founder of the 2 and Out CFL podcast. Left that to join my very best friend in the world, Joel Gasson. We do the 3 Down Greencast, which a Bomber fan and a fan of nobody talk about the Saskatchewan Roughriders at least once a week during the season. So most of it is per the reviews that we sometimes get. It's terrible comedy for about 20 minutes. Lots of takes on fast food, and lots of takes on beer. And then, sometimes we'll talk football. But basically a bit in broadcasting since either full-time or freelance since 2004 when I got my start in Thunder Bay, Ontario, for a news director that liked to karate chop the desk.
There you go. There's your background.
There you go.
Yeah, in a nutshell, I once said lieutenant, which sounds correct to everybody on this podcast, but in Canada, it's supposed to be lieutenant. Joey's got it. Joey's shaking his head. He knows. My boss in Thunder Bay got so mad, he literally was karate chopping a desk. And I stood back, and me, in a terribly fitted suit and tie, working a radio newsroom at 19 years old, told him to go pound sand.
Yeah.
Wasn't fired. And here I am 20 years later, a fat, semi-employed broadcaster in his basement.
Oh,
I had in my notes, or in the podcast notes, at one point, podcast ambush, but I erased it at one point because I was going to ambush you and ambush the other two, and so we could talk about the NLL for a minute.
I'm ready.
Because I go in and out of the NLL a lot because I was a Toronto Rock fan, and being a Toronto team playing in Hamilton, I don't know if I can support that morally.
It's so weird. Just go back to the Ontario. The funny thing is, they were originally the Ontario Rock.
Yeah.
And then so they relocated from downtown Toronto to Hamilton. I don't know why they didn't change the name. They even had 100%. Ticats inspired jerseys, and now again, because of renovations in Hamilton, they're moving again to another place that's not Toronto, but they're still the Toronto Rock. So
have they said where they're going yet?
It's one of the
Kitchener,
arenas.
right?
Yeah, it's either Kitchener or Mississauga. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Question: you said Toronto Rock, like a piece of stone? Is that what they are?
Oh no, they are when they came in, this was the late 90s where everything had to be extreme and rad and cool.
It's like rock on.
It's like rock on.
Awful.
So
okay.
Their first logo was the CN Tower playing a guitar with music notes and sunglasses everywhere.
That is the most 90s shit ever.
I'm Googling this oh my God.
Find it.
Oh, Jesus.
They were supposed to be They were supposed to be the cool version of the St. Louis Blues was the thought. Unfortunately, Toronto Rock isn't really a thing.
No, unless you're counting Kim Mitchell. I think I the only guy I can think of is Kim Mitchell or the band called Toronto, and
at the time at least. And then even the best Ontario rock. As far as Ontario rock bands actually come from Toronto, I'm coming up with Bearings and maybe July Talk.
Oh
this is the most radical extreme thing I've ever seen.
Lacrosse in the 90s is it's the hockey version of arena football.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You should see some of the logos. Montreal had a team for one season. Ottawa had a team called the Rebel. By we, I mean the Saskatchewan Rush. We were at one point the Syracuse Crunch.
Oh,
and we go back to a retro jersey from the Syracuse Crunch that literally had a rad surfer dude wearing sunglasses and a backwards hat.
I must say, Syracuse Smash. The Crunch of the AHL team that are still around.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Joey. I better not lose my broadcaster card for that one being correct.
But no, this is good because I'm going to post the Syracuse Smash logo in the chat as well, which is also very nice.
Oh yes, both just 10 out of 10 love.
This is sick as hell. This is sick. God bless.
I love how that we're talking about the National Lacrosse League.
Of course, just let it wander.
This is
the
best podcast ever.
Right on a CFB podcast talking about CFL.
That's right. So we're ready.
John, let me ask you, because we cover college football normally in the States. Are you a college a U.S. college football fan? Do you have your teams?
I'm very much getting into it.
Okay.
It's one thing. I'm actually what drew me was largely you guys was embracing the dumb, chaotic, let's and shut down full cast too.
Yeah.
Nice. Listening and being entertained and seeing the posts and everything. It's okay, this is really fun. As I get older, I just find I like embracing fun in sports, and U.S. college football is that. On my own socials a while ago, I posted hey, who should I cheer for? I don't want to cheer for Alabama. I don't want to cheer for somebody that's a wagon. And all my followers were Boise State. And so I got a bunch of Boise fans. I actually got the shirt I got. You cannot find Boise State gear in Canada or in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
It was sent up to me. They were welcome to Boise. Come on down to Idaho sometime. So go Broncos. So I would say my CFB knowledge is growing. It's a little surface level, but it is growing. I love it. I enjoy it. And the more chaotic, the better. I still remember, even before I really got into it, randomly coming home one night and turning on the famous Boise game, double overtime, Statue of Liberty play,
Oklahoma game.
The hook and ladder. Yeah, that to me, that's football what it should be. It's fun, it's chaotic, it's stupid. and put it directly in my veins, right? So I find myself watching more and more. It's just when you got 3 kids.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You semi-professionally cover one sport, 2 sports, really. I squeeze in as much as I can, but thoroughly enjoy it as much as I can watch.
That Fiesta Bowl, I think for Canadians who weren't super into college football, if they got into college football around the late 2000s, it was because of the Fiesta Bowl. Because that play, TSN still runs that play every year when they do like their like greatest trick plays of all time. Because the TSN top 10s, unlike the ESPN top 10s, they don't do a like top 10 plays of the week. They always do a themed one.
Yes.
And so every time they do like top 10 trick plays or top 10 like coaching moments or whatever, it's always the Fiesta Bowl. So that
Boise
still gets played up here all the time.
Boise State lives in infamy in Canada.
They really do.
Okay.
And the beauty of Canada too is I know in the States you got to have like Peacock Plus, Peacock X-rated, and all that kind of stuff just to watch ball.
NC-17
here in
Peacock.
Canada, yeah, that's right. Here in Canada, it's like you turn on your TV on a Sunday. I still get Red Zone because Scott Hansen's my hero.
Yeah.
I still get Red Zone, but like you can watch like 4 or 5 different games, and it's the same with CFB Saturdays. Like nothing gets blacked out. If there's a game on NBC, it's here. If there's a game on Fox, it's here, and then the sports networks will pick them up. So we're spoiled. Like if you like all football, I will sponsor your immigration to Canada. Like they're letting everybody into Canada these days. So come on up.
Oh, yeah.
You can see my kid's room, but right behind me on the video. I know we don't show video, but I'm right in front of my kid's room. I'll kick him out for some of you guys.
One of the great things, and one of the few great things I should say about our telecoms triopoly we have is that when it comes to media rights, there's only 2 bidders, and one of them tends not to care, Sportsnet. And so everything that's not hockey is on TSN, and they have 5 channels, and it's on one of them.
So, John, because you said like it's such a the weird, the college football is something you're new to. What is the wildest aspects for you? What are the things that really make you perk up and go like, oh, this is a weird, different beast?
To me, I mean, the one thing that draws me in is definitely the fan support in the stadiums. Like you have 100,000 people there, a blue turf in Boise, like that kind of stuff really draws me in. And the thing that also draws me in is the amount of CFL guys that come from NC2A. Right? Like if they're not playing, like the CFL is the second best football league in the world. It really is, right? The athleticism and everything is so close that, there's a lot of guys in the CFL every day that could make an NFL roster, and I'm a firm believer in that. Now, seeing these guys, he was a stud in college, and now he's here in Canada, what can he do? You kind of grow affection for those guys, and that's kind of what draws me. I love the timing rules. I like the fact that similar to the CFL, you can't just grind a game out on the ground. You can't just, hand off, okay, here's 3. And I've always been a believer, and this is the same, like I enjoy watching junior hockey, that the less experience you have, the more chaotic things are going to be. You're going to see mistakes in college football that you're not going to see in the CFL or the NFL. And that leads to crazy interceptions, crazy catches, crazy plays, college kickers walking up, and it's always a stressful situation. Like it's just the level of chaos you can get from a college football game is just, it's never really over. And I find that very similar to the CFL in that way. And that's what really draws me to it, that, oh, hey, somebody's down 3 touchdowns. Like even the national championship game this year, obviously it was quite one-sided, but you still had that sliver of hope being like, okay, this could become a game at any time.
Like Washington's only down like 11 or something. They get
11, 14.
That's it, right?
It's so close.
It's like 14. Like you change the momentum, get a play here, there, bam, and then and it's kind of like it's very swingy. Like there's momentum swings throughout, and it's just that one simple mistake here and there, and then like the floodgates open. It's a lot of fun. The CFL is the same way too, because 100%. I mean, like one little mistake happens, and bam, bam. I mean, you're up by like 15. All of a sudden, like it's a 2-point game. You're like, oh wow.
I love that you picked 15 to indicate a rouge had been scored at some point.
Commish. I had to throw that in there.
Had to throw in the odd 1 point for the punt signal or the miss. I know, I love it too. Oh, me too. And the super chaos ones where you see a team put somebody in the end zone to kick it out. Like that is
Oh, yeah.
that is the CFL in a nutshell to me. It's amazing and it's chaotic and it's dumb and it's like college football. And you know, in today's day and age that, you know, you're being blasted with so many entertainment options, it's like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to watch something that is going to entertain me, that's going to be crazy, and I don't know how this is going to end. And I find myself so often than not just starting to get into college football rooting for the underdog. Like I'll turn on a game and somebody's down 3 touchdowns and I'm like, go those guys!
Mhm.
Unless they're Alabama, because fuck Alabama.
There you go. Hi, Beth. How are you guys?
Hi.
Pitt Girl.
Hello.
You mean Pitt
Yes.
Girl?
Oh,
not-
I'm sorry, Pitt Girl. Sorry.
I'm-
Oh, there's the song. There's one of the banned words.
There's one of the
Yeah.
bad words. Can't
Yeah,
do
we-
that.
Television.
My
Yeah,
bad.
congratulations on having to bleep that because I do have to
you bleeped
maintain
it.
my semi-anonymity. But
It's okay.
hello.
Arthur's editing it, so mark the time down.
John, I just wanted to say, you mentioned the comparison between FBS college football and the Canadian Hockey League, and I just want to say that's so prescient. I've been saying that for a while now. We've been covering the Memorial Cup on Sickos on Ice.
Yeah.
And the vibe, that's the closest you get, I think, to big time college football, or even like small time college football, is those junior hockey stadiums. Have you done much with junior hockey out west?
I've done color commentator for a few games for the Saskatoon Blades. I haven't done that in a while. The group that owns the Rush now own the Blade. So I had my own Jordan-esque flu game. I wasn't on the broadcast, but there was a nasty flu that kind of hit the whole city, and I ended up doing the in-stands announcing a day after being in bed for 12 to 16 hours because of the flu. So I was in the stands after recovery, pale as a ghost, and I made it happen. But yeah, speaking of chaos, like look at this Saskatoon Moose Jaw series. 7-game conference championship. 6 of the games go to overtime. The winning goal is decided because it goes, so the tying goal goes, or the opening goal, pardon me, goes off of a crossbar so hard off the back of the goal it goes in the net. Winning goal goes off a skate and in. It was a pure chaos, pure sicko stuff.
Yeah, this may have been the most Sickos CHL playoffs in a long time. Me and Ducky got to cover that on the Sickos on Ice account. Very fun. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. Sorry.
Yes.
So John,
Like my own podcast, I love going off the rails.
Oh,
So, John,
we
like-
don't have any rails.
Yeah, what
John,
rails?
Good.
Yeah,
So-
but none.
I want you to sell our listeners on the Canadian game because
Easy.
I know a lot of them watch it. Someone described to me once as like, if you know German and hear someone speaking Dutch, you're like, I should understand this, but it doesn't quite sound right. So sell them on the Canadian game.
Everything you love about college football, but at a slightly higher, faster level with some absolute rabid fan bases. We have some quirky rules. Our balls are bigger or used to be bigger. That was actually, speaking of radical 1990s things, that was one of the ad campaigns was our balls are bigger.
I'm
not even kidding.
I think I'm gonna have to Google that now, but I'm scared.
Hang on. Beth just put her headphones back on. Can you just, devoid of context, say what you just said again?
Our balls are bigger,
Thank you.
Beth.
You're muted, thank God.
I'm
Go.
so glad to know that. I feel better now. Thank you.
Alexa, play AC/DC.
Yeah, there we go. So what that all came from was that during the late 90s, it was radically Canadian. Our balls are bigger, much like the Toronto Rock that we discussed earlier. They tried to be super cool, but one thing you will love, and this is even something I love from a chaos standpoint, is the 3 downs. You don't have opportunities to just, okay, we're just going to run it up the middle and get a couple and go from there. No, the downs are so much more meaningful. Every play is that much more meaningful. And with the timer rules as well, the clock is basically whistled in. So you don't have the ability to sit on a lead and just grind it out, right? The 2 downs mean there's lots of plays. Now, that also means, for pure sickos, there's some days, if the offenses aren't working, there's also more punts.
A lot of
There's a
punts.
lot of punts.
I-
There can be a lot of punts.
Yes.
So
I love that.
if you love punting like I do, you love kicking like I do, which also can lead to, of course, exciting plays,
Yes.
right? And we have some unbelievable quirky rules. This is where the German-Dutch comparison comes in the best.
My favorite part is with the punt. That halo, that 5-yard halo.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Like, the little halo that they put around the returner is like, hey, you got to give them like 5 yards around because, I mean, I don't know if there is a fair catch or not, but I don't think so.
There isn't a fair catch.
No fair catch.
We don't have a fair catch.
No,
you're given the 5-yard halo.
That's right. I love the halo.
If you encroach the halo while it's in the air, that's 15 yards at the end of the play, right? So guys are very cautious, which allows, so basically you catch it, you have 5 yards around you, you're going to make a play, which leads to more punt returns after more punts. The other one I love, too, is a couple of quirky ones with the onside punt rules that have still stuck around in the rule book from rugby days. You guys saw it where the Montreal Alouettes famously, they'd catch the ball, they'd punt it to themselves, therefore resetting the down. There's also a trick play in Canadian football where if you're lined up behind the punter, so just like the punter can recover their own punted ball and it be considered, first down, anybody that lines up behind the punter when they kick, or the kicker, you can retrieve that ball as well. So you'll see the occasional play where you'll have a couple guys that are behind the punter and they're running for it, and they're eligible to pick that up as well as the punter. So it can be a trick play that you see. So there's some absolute chaotic rules. The fields are bigger. The goalposts are right in the middle of the end zone. We don't back ours up.
That is so harrowing. That is so fucking harrowing.
I love that. I love when they're on the 1 yard line and there's, they try to quarterback sneak, but you guarantee you they're not going straight. They have to go to the side because they'll run right into the post.
Well, that's it, and you have to give a yard in the CFL.
Yes,
right.
I love that too.
You have to line up a yard off the ball. Which, fun fact, in today's day and age, with everybody's concerned about injuries and stuff, they find that actually causes less injury in Canadian football because you're not necessarily ramming head on head like you are when you're both on the line of scrimmage. So it's chaotic. It's fun. There are some absolute rabid fan bases. I know one of the tweets we received for questions talked about the health of the league. The league's healthier than ever before. Like, you don't have to worry about cheering for a team and having them leave like the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah.
So, or whatever next NHL franchise they put in Atlanta,
Utah Hockey League,
or the Utah hockey team, or whatever the hell they're going to be. So,
UHC. I don't. Whatever.
Considering my day job is sales, I'm hoping I at least sold one person on it. If not, maybe I should look at doing something.
Well, the rest of the podcast, we're going to try to find folks we're going to try to find their team. Like you're college football fans. We're going to try to give you some things about each team, which there are 9 of them. And hopefully you can find something that you find interesting in this podcast. And then, maybe Beth will have a CFL team. Pitt Girl will have one. I have one that I really like just because, they got 2 of my, school's players on there. And then also, I do love the color green. And I don't know who Jordan is, but I know Joey is a Ticats fan. I know you are a Bombers fan.
Yes, I am.
So, again, you kind of probably got 2/3 of this podcast looking for CFL fandom.
Well, I'm going to play CFL Matchmaker tonight.
Okay.
Dim the lights, start up the funky guitar music.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to meet your CFL fan match on the Sickos podcast.
All right. Oh, yeah. This is Corvallis.
There we go. That's what I was going for.
This is Corvallis Love coming to you from Dog River, Saskatchewan. Sorry.
I love the Dog River pull. That was a good
you like that?
Also,
that was good.
Don't apologize when you're not sorry. We know you're not.
I'm not.
Right, yes.
I'm just having fun.
Is this the Osti AI thing all over again?
I feel like Corvallis Love grew up on the same sod farm as the Stahl brothers.
I am originally from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Beth.
God, I love Thunder Bay, the name of the town, the city rules. I don't even know what the meaning behind it is. Don't tell me, but I just love the fact
what it sounds
Thunder
like.
Bay.
They got to pick their own name because it was 2 cities that came together and had a large city baby, and they got to pick their own name, and they went with Thunder Bay. And I shit you not, my grandparents' house is right down the street from the Stahl sod farm. I was never good enough to play against. I was never good enough to play against the Stahls. Who would have thought being 5'6" and a goaltender was a great idea? But
hey, it worked for Darren Pang.
I drove by that sod farm all the time. In fact, okay, and you're gonna laugh. I'm every Canadian stereotype right now because it seems like I know everybody.
Do it.
Went to my wife's parents' friends had a cabin right beside the stalls, and I remember visiting there once, and I was like, you kind of want to say hi, like, hey, do you want to go have a beer or something?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just kind of awkwardly gawking at them as they jet around shirtless on jet skis.
Yes.
Because you're like,
is that
do I say hi?
That's very Muskoka coded.
Yeah. No, it's actually up by Thunder Bay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you're just watching an NHL guy tarps off on a jet ski, like kind of wanted to say hi, get enough beers in you that you're like, oh hey, what's going on, bud? But never had the stones.
I could see Jordan Stahl as a jet ski guy very, very easily. It's a little harder for me to imagine Eric on a jet ski, but like Jordan, that tracks.
Eric is the king jet ski guy.
Okay. This is good to know.
He was the guy on the jet ski, full tarp off. Jordan was there too, but like Jordan was like more jet ski reserved. Like he was like the chill guy on the jet ski, while Eric's like, yeah, party, tarp off, let's go.
And Jared's not allowed on the jet ski because he's not good enough at hockey.
They bought him a cabin.
Yeah.
They've got 4 cabins in like a cabin cul-de-sac. And Jordan, Mark, and Eric each bought one, and then they had to buy one for Jared.
A cabin,
Carolina Hurricanes
a cabin
legend.
cul-de-sac. I love that. All right.
Yes, yeah. I got a few Canadian / John-isms for you tonight. We're
great.
just getting them cured up.
Let's go.
I'm here for it. So who do we start with? What team should I sell you on first?
I have it broken down here. There's the East Division, then there's the West Division. Do you want to lead off with Joey's fandom first? The Hamilton Tiger Cats. Just get that one out of the way because Joey's probably going to be like, join me as a Tiger Cats fan. Do you want to go with that one? And then you can sell us on the rest. Or can I just like hold out for the team to be named later and hopefully in the Maritimes or something like that?
I can tell you that ain't happening. The appetite for spending public money on anything.
Okay.
The funny thing is though, Commish, if you make your way up for a Grey Cup, every team has their own like theme party.
I took a picture of it. Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know what you're gonna say.
Atlantic Schooners party.
Every team has their own theme park, so it's like CFL, like Epcot.
Yeah, it's CFL Epcot. It is 100% CFL Epcot.
You go from party to party to party, and you have a bunch of overpriced booze.
Okay.
And the Atlantic Schooners actually have one. They will sadly probably never get a team. But I like they're gonna need somebody with. The problem is in Atlantic Canada, there's no real CFL ready venue.
The place they would have probably put one now has a Canadian Premier League soccer team.
Yes. But when that league goes tits up, there's a real
Forge is a CONCACAF Champions League team, I'll have you know.
Yes. I have no problem with the CPL. It looks like a great time. Soccer may not be my cup of tea. My kid plays it, but it's not really my jam. But I don't know if there's long-term viability there, which is probably the best thing that could happen for the Canadian Football League is for them to go away, convert it to a football stadium, and pitter-patter, let's get at her out in Atlantic Canada. But Commish, I grew up a Winnipeg Jets fan and came back to the Jets when they came back. So you can do the same thing. We can marry you to a team tonight.
Okay.
Or at least start you in like a relationship that at least gets the second base in the back of a Camaro.
Okay.
The only kind of relationship that I recognize, yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Second base on the back of a Camaro.
I can be in a CFL situationship.
You can be in back on the old days.
They call that the Calgary Common Law.
Oh
no! I thought the Calgary Common Law. Oh, I don't. Am I gonna go? No. Joey knows the social media post I'm talking about.
That's snowed in on a weekend, right?
This is another thing I shouldn't Google, isn't it?
Is there
that one.
Canadian Urban Dictionary?
There might be. I believe a Calgary
Urban Dictionary.
There was a situation at the Calgary Stampede. Great party, by the way, where there was a 3-way going on in broad daylight between 2 guys and a girl.
Good for them.
Just happening there. So I would consider that that would be the Urban Dictionary term for
the Calgary Stampede is Burning Man for people who listen to Morgan Wallen. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not.
Awesome.
Joey, you
That
nailed
knocked
it.
out Beth. I apologize.
Yeah, she's fine. She's
That's
got her-
sweet.
No, she's got to reset her mic.
All right. Well,
She's
now that
coming
we've
back.
terrified.
That was,
now that we've
that was not
terrified Beth.
intentionally after what Joy said. That it's good.
That
Beth
that
has
was good.
100% heard worse. It's fine.
But let's
Okay,
let's
good.
start with the Tie
She's a West
Cats.
Virginia fan. She's probably
All
seen
right.
worse.
Let's start with them. let's let Joey sell us on him, on his team, and then you can give us some stuff here, John. And
All right.
you
ready
can
to
go there, and then we'll go for the rest. So, like Joey, you got the hardest sell up front because we got 8 to go
Right.
after you.
So I am not appealing to the average football fan here, because if you are an average
Okay.
football fan, the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to be a lot of pain and a lot of frustration. If you are a sicko, the Hamilton Tiger Cats are the team for you. This is, in my opinion, the most sicko city in the Canadian Football League, and John may challenge me on that, but Hamilton, Ontario is a wonderful place that terrifies me every time I go in a good way. The neighborhood around the stadium is exactly what it sounds like, a neighborhood. They've plopped that stadium in the middle of a residential area to the point that walking to the Grey Cup, I accidentally ended up in about 3 different people's backyards who were not football fans and very confused. I'm talking, I could see the stadium. Like, I could read signs on the stadium. That's how
Very
close
college
it was.
football-esque right there. I'll
Yes.
say that. I remember one
Yes.
time I was at an Auburn game and I wound up in somebody's backyard. I don't know how that happened, but
You just stop after saying you were at an Auburn game.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes sense.
whatever happened
Yeah,
after that point is just.
I mean, well, the barn did get set on fire, but I didn't do it. I swear.
That's the difference between Hamilton and Auburn. Is Hamilton, you end up in someone's backyard before the game.
Okay.
This team has the wonderful ACC coastal vibe of they could never fire their coach because they kept making the playoffs at like 5 wins because they play in the CFL East. The bad man is gone now. Orlando Steinauer is now gone.
Okay.
They now have.
They were the perpetual like 6-6, 7-5 ACC team, and they had Scott Satterfield as their head coach. And then they finally got rid of Satterfield.
See, this is very Big Ten West to me. This is
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
This is not the ACC. This is
I mean, they do
a
have
Big
black
Ten
and
West
yellow.
team not named Iowa.
They're black and yellow.
Oh,
like
I've
Iowa.
got them very much as Mizzou,
Mm.
right? Because
Ooh.
Yeah.
same kind of thing. Like you've had a couple good seasons, black and yellow,
Black and yellow.
but
black
most
and
of
yellow.
the time it's just kind of dog shit.
Yes, but imagine that dog shit team makes the playoffs every year. And again, Big Ten West. Imagine the Big Ten playoffs was top 4 in each division for the last like 10 years, and who the 3 and 2 seeds would be every year in the Big Ten West.
That would be
man.
great.
Yeah,
It'd be
dream.
amazing.
Even though this year and another CFLism with 9 teams, there's always the risk of a crossover.
yes, and
So can we explain what a crossover is?
So the crossover is there's 5 teams in the West, 4 teams in the East. If the 4th place team in the West is better record-wise than the 3rd place team in the East, they cross over.
they take their playoff spot.
Right. So that's why you have seen the Edmonton Elks in a Eastern Division final.
I've seen BC in an East Division final once.
Yeah, like it, and it's funny. Nobody's ever made the Grey Cup crossing over, but
Okay.
I feel like this year, and this will maybe tee it up before we get to this, could be the year that happens. I should also mention pure sicko stuff, and I'm going to steal a very European football team term here.
Okay.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats are a 14-time vice champion.
Yes.
Okay.
They another thing with the crossover is it is on the books that a team can cross over from the East to the West. That has never come up because it's never even been close.
I'm not worried about that.
Does the vice champion take over if the champion is incapacitated or dies?
I would hope so.
There is also a designated. There's also a designated survivor, and I'm going to just appoint them as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
That's why
every
there's
year.
9
So-
teams. You have 8 teams and a designated survivor.
And
That does
and
work
Joey,
for Winnipeg because they switch divisions.
right? They go both ways in both divisions. Joey, I also give you credit because if you join Joey's Hamilton Tiger Cats, nobody's going to call you a bandwagon hopper.
It's true.
Yep.
I haven't won the Grey Cup since I was the starting goaltender for the Atikokan Voyageurs in 1999 and had a 1-win season in 2003.
I can do you one better, John. Their last Grey Cup, 1999, was the year I was born.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't need that psychic damage from you, Joey.
Yeah.
I know, Joey, come on.
Oh,
Okay.
that's when I graduated high school.
Now former Maryland QB Scott Milanovic.
Oh God. That hit me
they-
right in the gut. That's when I graduated high school.
Yeah,
man.
yes, that's thanks.
The
thanks.
pants that I'm wearing are older than you.
Their quarterback room
At least
has
there's fit in them.
has
That's
Bo
impressive.
Levi Mitchell, who has one of my favorite names in the entire league. He is the epitome of the Southern Hick who goes native in Canada, which is a recurring trope. Bo Levi Mitchell was the Stampeders quarterback for a long time. Came over to Hamilton, got hurt immediately, and then hurt again, and then hurt again. If he gets hurt again, they will go to Eastern Michigan's Taylor Powell, who now has the sick nickname of QB0 because he wears number 0.
It is great. And to top it off, you have such famous, notable fans as Martin Short and Tom Hanks, and their attendance at the 2013 Grey Cup, in which the Tiger Cats were vice champions, made national news.
There you
Yep.
go.
I'm not even exaggerating. This is not like I like comic exaggeration, but the fact that Tom Hanks and Martin Short attended a Grey Cup game was literal national news in Canada.
That is correct. Their most famous former player, in my opinion, and John, you can correct me if you think otherwise, is King Kong Mosca, who may be more notable as a WWF heel in the 80s and 70s. He and to my generation, he is most notable for as an, I believe, 80-year-old man punching a former opponent at a CFL alumni banquet.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a CFL. I was actually at that Grey Cup. I wasn't at that banquet. I was. I had tickets. I got lost in Ryderville during a Kim Mitchell concert. So
That'll happen.
We did miss the scrap, but we heard all about it. And this was Twitter was just like a tiny baby birdie at this time. And so it was like texting other people like, oh my God, Mosca just fought
Joe Cap.
Joe Cap. Thank you, Joey. On stage at a CFL awards banquet.
I believe
used
Mosca
his
hit the guy with
cane
a
as a
cane.
weapon.
Yeah.
He did, yes. He
Jesus
whipped out his cane.
Christ.
Yeah, that was and this was when the Ticats were far from being vice champions. So
Yes.
So
very much a sickos team,
Okay.
and
but
very much I'm surprised at their Grey Cup odds though.
so
A lot of that is being CFL East. Maybe the number 2 seed there.
I want to say something here about the actual quarterback, Bo Levi Mitchell. He went to Eastern Washington, and he led our Big Sky Bangers at Eastern Washington, the Big Sky Conference, to the national title, FCS title in 2010. So that's just a fun fact for some CFB, and shout out to the Big Sky, of course.
And of course, now his arm is made of duct tape, hope, and maybe some string. So if he can kind of be relatively healthy, which sportsbook has it? They've got Caesars has him at plus 1,200.
That seems very generous.
This is like I was saying. It's you'll see sort of inflated odds for Hamilton, Ottawa, mostly Hamilton and Ottawa, because there is the chance where Toronto or Montreal have a down year. One of them grabs the 2 and just goes on a run, even though they're 7-10.
This is what I love. All right.
It could be. And you're going to make the playoffs halfway through the season, so you can rest guys and hopefully get, some extra duct tape and string for Bo Levi Mitchell's right arm.
Perfect.
And Taylor Powell's not bad. He's a serviceable spot starter. I think even if they have to go to Taylor Powell, there's a chance they get the 2 if Montreal can't repeat their magic from last year. So this is a team where if you want not just pure misery and sadness, but also not going to be accused of being a front runner, and a team with plenty of sickos capabilities for the 2024 season, I highly recommend you join us in Hamilton, Ontario, the Shreveport of Canada.
Oh my God, that's a big sell. That is a big sell.
But the problem is, and this is why you shouldn't cheer for them.
Okay, why should you hate them?
Their chant is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's the most college football chant.
Okay, let's hear
real.
this.
It is.
Do we
Oh,
have
come
the
on.
chant?
Have you heard Penn State fans just screaming "We are Penn State" at each other? Because
It's
like,
more Minnesota. It's
the
more
most
Minnesota.
exciting that anyone's
It
ever
is-
been about a name tag.
It is. It's just.
Oh, Jesus
They're
Christ.
all words, but none of them. Okay, I got it.
All right.
I got to stand up for
Do
this.
it. Stand up. Oh, my
what you have
God.
to do, you have to hold your hat out, your top hat, and it's Oski Wee Wee, Oski Wawa, Holy Mackinac, Tiger Cats, eat 'em raw.
Oh my God.
That's not even college football. That's terrible.
No,
That's college football as hell, though.
Yes, rah rah.
Yes.
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 Now on
rah,
Patreon.
rah, rah, yes, on our Patreon.
This
Join
could be this is so Texas A&M like adjacent.
Oh
It's
my
Minnesota. Come on, don't compare us to them.
well, I mean, no,
Ski Wow.
Oski Wow Wow is very Illinois coded.
Yes.
That is.
This is
that is, that is.
extremely Illinois coded.
And their probably best quarterback ever once pushed me out of the way to get in line at a urinal and then accused the guy beside him at a urinal at the party of looking at little Danny. Danny McManus, this is the 2007 Grey Cup. I'm in line because I've had about a zillion beers. We are at the Hamilton Tiger Cats Tiger Town party. And I'm in line to go in the urinal. And we're at Tiger Town. And in comes Danny McManus, who's been like retired for like a year or two. Now the assistant GM of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He comes in, shoves people out of the way to get in front. He finds some Ticats fan wearing McManus jersey, pulls him away from the urinal, proceeds to do his business. And he looks at the guys beside him and says, "Hey, no looking at little Danny." Dude had about a zillion beers. So
I'd say-
I'm sure.
That number is unknowable, I feel.
I will say that you can't call Hamilton the Texas A&M because I was allowed to go into the Hamilton Armory and kick a field goal during the Grey Cup. That is
Okay.
what they use it for.
Perfect.
That's really cool. My podcast co-host and friend of the program, Dan Plaster, they both suggested Auburn. As much like the Tiger Cats owner or caretaker, Bob Young. So Bob Young basically has been pissing money away to have a football team for years. Plus they swing wildly from very good, hence 14-time vice champions, to very bad since one win season. So that's co-host of my podcast, Joel, coming up with Auburn as a CFB comparison.
I like that.
All right.
Okay.
So
I like that.
there you go.
On-field Auburn, off-field Mizzou.
I don't want any of that. That sounds.
That is.
Come join us.
If I pulled up to a restaurant and I asked
they're
them what
both
they
Tigers.
had and that's what they said, I would say no, thank you. I would
Look,
drive
I
away.
mean,
I would
Auburn-
simply drive away.
No. The wild swings between good and bad and insane like ownership and stuff. This is giving Louisville to me.
Mm.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
This
Or-
is not exactly Auburn. This is
Or-
very Louisville. To
You
me.
just don't want this attached to your Auburn fan.
No, I think Auburn is a different kind of crazy than this.
Okay.
Yeah, Pitt Girl,
This
you got
is-
like really mad when I brought that up.
So
This is a
Pitt Girl was like Auburn small person, for context. So
Okay.
yeah,
Obnoxiously Auburn baby.
yeah, pretty much.
Auburn baby. Aubie.
You know where you would go,
Aubie.
Jordan? You would go find yourself, you would say, "No, I'm not having that." You would go find yourself a delicious Montreal smoked meat poutine.
So yeah,
Oh.
so Montreal has been, I think, the team I've flirted with the most.
Okay.
And
Oh, hold
last
on.
year
Hold
sort
on.
of put me
Before we
over.
moved on from
Sorry.
Hamilton, I got to give the sicko stat of the year because, again, we're sickos here.
Yes.
The total amount of the Hamilton Tiger Cats rouges / singles in 2023, they had 4 on field goals and 2 rouge / singles on punts. So they had 6
love it.
overall. So if you're a big fan of the rouge, they had 6 total.
I love it. And if you're going to make your decision strictly based on rouges, I respect the hell out of that.
That's, again, I got to give the sicko
That feels
stat.
solid.
That's
That
what
feels
we
solid.
do.
That's
I'm throwing it in
important to know.
there. I tracked it for every team.
I know. I saw that in the notes, and I went from 6 to midnight.
That's right.
This has been an interesting episode so far.
So yeah, please tell me on Montreal, please. 'Cause
Okay.
Montreal's been the team I've flirted with the most, I think.
Well, you know what? Montreal's definitely a team that you could get in the back of an El Camino and get to second base with. They are also a bit chaotic in the sense that they were
In the
wildly
sense
good.
that their end zones are not fully complete.
No, they play in a college. Montreal does not have their own home venue. They rent the field from McGill University.
Okay.
Which is a U Sports team, Canadian NCAA. So they don't even have their own building. So
Gorgeous venue, by the way.
So
Gorgeous.
they all have to play their games at like 1:00 in the afternoon because McGill takes precedent. You're not allowed to make enough noise because McGill is legitimately one of the best universities in Canada. That's where all the money is.
Yes.
Right? I have heard Montreal's an absolute electric factory to party. I have never been there, but I remember being very drunk with my dad once we were both legal drinking age here in Canada. And my dad's like, John, you gotta go to Montreal one day. Then I started having kids, so I still have not made it to Montreal.
Okay.
Another reason they get their party town reputation is because the legal drinking age in Quebec is 18.
Yes, and the team is fun.
The Canadian New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
You know what, Commish? That's your best. That's your best.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
four degrees involved.
That's really
Okay.
close.
All right.
I love Montreal.
You
That's
getting me?
really close.
You know, I'm from New Orleans, so I'm like, I don't know. Montreal's getting me.
But instead, you guys have that delicious spicy Cajun food. They just put gravy on everything and cheese curds. So
I mean,
like,
there is this weird like seasoning we get from McCormick. It is called the Montreal steak seasoning. I don't know if that's legit though.
I don't know how Montreal that is.
It is this kind of rub they would put on a Montreal smoked meat.
Okay.
Yes.
All
So
right.
it very much comes from it. And to be honest, you wouldn't be that much of a. You wouldn't be that much. Sorry, I keep cracking up. I keep seeing the chat. I'm gonna work all of these cars into it. By the way, I'm a car guy in my real job. They were a dynasty, and last year's Grey Cup kind of came out of nowhere. But they are led by maybe the most likable quarterback in the CFL, in Cody Fajardo. Right?
Yep.
The guy took a lot of heat. He came to. He was a career backup. Came to Saskatchewan, had a great couple seasons. Like he was eating corn dogs after games, and he was, Jesus sprinkles. Like he had all this great stuff in Saskatchewan. Actually, with a partnership with a local podcast here, the Piffles podcast, he put out some shirts, did it as a big fundraiser. They donated over $1,000 to the Children's Hospital. So Cody is one of the all-time nice guys out there. And Cody's famous for not swearing. And it's funny, they won the Grey Cup, making my Winnipeg Blue Bombers the vice champion last year. They won the Grey Cup, and this clip came out. Now, you got to think, Cody's a super religious, super chill guy, not known for swearing, not known for being fiery.
Right.
And they had the clip of him standing up in front of his teammates, and he said, they said we're going to be the last place. Fuck you, watch us. And he just, kept going on, they said we were going to lose to Toronto. Fuck you, watch us. They said we're not going to win against Winnipeg. Fuck you, and the team
So
goes
good.
nuts.
It's so good.
God, that's God.
I would run through a wall for this man.
My God, I feel like I'm watching Shoresy. Jesus Christ.
I
love it.
It's better than Shoresy. Everybody was fired up, and he's a nice guy. You might get some filthy bandwagon hopper, vibes, as they are both, they were a previous dynasty. They are the current champions.
Right.
They went through a very dark time. We're talking, they were starting quarterbacks that had no business starting, anywhere.
Gotcha.
Guys like Alex Brink was their starting quarterback at one point. Also former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, which is why I can pull that one out of my ass. Now, the only thing you might hate, though, if you're watching the games, people bring vuvuzelas to the games religiously.
Okay.
Religiously.
Montreal is very Europe in both positive and negative ways.
But the problem is, the fine folks at TSN put their crowd mics right beside the vuvuzelas. So as you are watching the games,
so this is giving me a little bit of Mississippi State with the cowbell thing. It's
Yeah.
tough to watch a game in Starkville.
I don't
Right.
need to be
You
at
don't
I don't
enjoy
have-
the washing machine full of pennies?
I don't need
my
to
wife
be at
hates it.
work when I'm at home.
right?
That's it. Yeah. Just basically your job, Beth.
But
I
can
like
tell you,
I like vuvuzelas.
no, because you're trying to watch the broadcast and
I know.
and all yours.
I am
give
fundamentally
flashbacks.
broken as a person.
I will
Nothing you're
say
telling
it
me is
sounds-
surprising.
It sounds better at McGill than it did at Olympic. At Olympic, all you could hear was the vuvuzelas and then emptiness.
And maybe because I'm a big fancy bougie bitch, but I've got my surround sound and my 80-inch TV in my basement, and for whatever reason, the one surround sound speaker that's right by my
Gotcha. Yeah.
Homer ass cushion beer drinking chair always picks up the vuvuzela right into my ear.
If
So
you
this
want,
year-
if you want the full surround sound experience with that, you should head over to our Sickos friends in Illinois who are experiencing the cicada swarm and listen to that at the same time that you listen to Vuvuzelas. That ought to send your ASMR to the moon.
I think you would escape Samsara if that happened.
Oddly enough, Montreal did win the Grey Cup in 2010, and that was the 2010 South African World Cup.
Oh yeah,
so
maybe us all to the Vuvuzela.
Maybe it's all connected.
That's where it all comes from. If you're putting money on them to make the playoffs, it's basically free money. The East Division is dog shit this year.
Year?
Especially this year. You can get them at plus 500, plus 600 kind of across the board. If you're listening, you're thinking, what do they look like? Their jerseys are almost dead ringers for Arizona's.
Yeah, I also wrote Fresno State when they wear blue.
Love the solid, just red and blue, classic. Love it.
So
I will say about Montreal, I thank you, Commish, thank you, Jordan, who sent me to the Grey Cup last year in Hamilton. I had a wonderful time, and the Montreal players and the coach Jason Moss were very lovely to the Sickos committee who were in the interview room. They sat me right next to CBC Edmonton, which again, the imposter syndrome was real crazy there.
Wow.
But Jason Moss answered my question about the onside punt. He seemed to enjoy that, all the distraction from the serious business questions. And I asked, "Are you breaking out the onside punt today?" He gave a little chuckle. And that's the thing about Montreal. Jason Moss, I really enjoy his coaching style because he is a Canadian football guy. A lot of these CFL teams, they tend to get a guy who's an American football guy who learns the Canadian game. Jason Moss,
right? I've heard this. Yes,
is a big Canadian football guy, and he can go deep in the rule book to find what he needs to do to make wins happen. And the onside punt last year was a good use of that. They were trying to ban it for a while because he was the only one that remembered it was in the rule book for a while.
Well, and the funny thing with Jason Moss is he's the ultimate proof that the Fraser curse is real. So I have always picked teams, and whenever I do, they lose. It's a thing that happens when I pick teams. And on our own CFL preview show last year, I said that Jason Moss would be an absolute failure because he was a snap show as a coach in Edmonton. I loved his style. And then for whatever reason, he went ultra conservative in Saskatchewan while still being a bit of a snap show. So he ultimately proved the Fraser curse is real by, winning the Grey Cup after I ripped him a new one. And their GM, Danny Machocha, I once sold radio with an ex-Edmonton Eskimos player who told me that Machocha was a bit of a clown show. So I'm like, hey, they're not going to win. They got this clown show and this jerk face running the team. They Grey Cup champions beating by.
They figured it out. Yeah.
Beating your team. So yeah, a little egg on your face. I do want to mention that they do have the CFL single season rushing leader on the Montreal Alouettes, Caleb Evans from ULM.
Yes.
ULM has been mentioned. We had to mention him. They also signed wide receiver Tyrone Howell as an undrafted ULM wide receiver. He's a big wide receiver, and he's got some hands. I hope he makes the team, and I hope he can get into a game because he has great body positioning and he has fantastic hands, along with like solid speed, like a 4.5, not like burner speed, but like really good solid speed. So I hope they give him a chance.
I don't know if he's gonna make the team, but they did sign at least invited him to training camp. Friend of the show, Smoke Monday.
Oh yes.
Oh, nice.
I don't think unfortunately, breaking your hearts as I'm looking here, I think Smoke Monday is unfortunately gone. But
no.
A CFB comparison, I'm going to go with Texas. Dominant in the early 2000s with Anthony Calvillo at quarterback, just like you had Vince Young at Texas, who was the quarterback of that kind of generation. You had Anthony Calvillo in Montreal, and then just kind of disappeared. But now that they're good again, like the fan base has come out in droves. So I'm going to go, my comparison's Texas.
Montreal is back.
100% they're back.
Well, so that's the thing. Montreal is back. At some points in their history, that was literal, because there were some points in the CFL history, in recent CFL history, where there was no Montreal team.
Right. Listeners, we are brushing over by talking about these teams. We are brushing over about 100 years of these teams moving around sometimes to a lot of different places.
I was going to say LSU, and mainly for the superficial Louisiana to Quebec comparison.
Oh, okay. Got a little Cajun.
I like it, Joey.
Cajun
Yeah.
influence. Do they have
but also,
airboats in Montreal?
I'm sure you could take an airboat down the St. Lawrence.
Oh,
It might not go great for you, but for a little bit, it'll be all right.
It'll be cold. You might get run over by a ship. But
Okay,
hell, give it in Canada, the worst they're going to do is like fine you for something.
Okay.
I'm just stuck on like fleur de lis down.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
That might, if you do that in some parts of Quebec, they will react like a Texas fan.
Okay.
Violently.
You drop a fleur de lis down. I don't know how you do that with your hands, but
you gotta get the gang signs going. Yes,
you will upset the entire state of Louisiana, and I think you will probably upset Montreal. I can see that.
Oh, you would. You
would upset an LSU fan. You'd upset a Texas fan. Either way, that's right.
Don't do that in Laval. You will not leave Laval.
Relevant to our interests, I did some hasty Googling, and I did find that the Alouettes have one mascot, a bird named Touche. But for a while, they had two mascots, and Touche's younger brother was Blitz, who was born in 1999, and in 2003 became the first CFL team mascot to receive a penalty after making contact with a ref in an end zone.
Yes,
done.
Yes, he did.
I will say Touche is the most beautiful mascot I've ever seen. Look at that eyeliner.
He's an extremely happy bird.
I'm just glad that they've gone away from for a period. Touche was like this weird, like inflatable blow up, like you saw with the
those like the
raptor costumes.
Yes,
that was a weird time for Touche, for a man named Touche. Commish, I feel like they might be your team because you've got that Louisiana accent that could pass as French. Because everybody in Quebec hates all the Anglophones. They just hate them. So I feel like if any of us were like, hey, no dude about it, we're gonna come cheer for the Montreal Alouettes.
Right, we hate you.
Are like painfully Canadian accents. We're gonna end up behind a dumpster with hot poutine scalded on our face. But Commish, this might be
like a delicious way to die. I like this. Hold on.
I mean, like, is that like a Cajun poutine? I mean, is there like is there like some flavors?
Commish, I'm telling you, when we break off our catering business and we start selling things at the state fair, I'm making deep fried poutine, cheese curd in the center, potato on the outside, like crunched up fries. Dip it in fry batter, fry it, gravy on top.
I will say the Popeyes here sells poutine, so that's probably Cajun poutine.
Yes, yep.
I have hastily Googled Cajun poutine.
Oh.
The first recipe that comes up, courtesy of thebeachhousekitchen.com, describes itself as, this Cajun poutine is the classic Canadian dish, Cajun style, loaded with shrimp, sausage, veggies, and cheese curds, all in a zesty brown gravy atop waffle fries.
Oh, God, sold.
That sounds like the heaviest dish I've ever heard.
I know, seriously, like
and I don't like fish.
You are not getting up from the table after that.
No,
it has kind of a lot of Tony Chachere's in it.
You think?
Oh, you think? You put Tony's on anything, I'm there.
You are either having an afternoon nap after that, or that is the best drunk food you've ever had in your life.
Poutine is the best
last
drunk
meal.
food ever.
Yeah. I'll if we find Commish in the back of a Buick Skylark with a poutine, we will know which team he is. I promise you, I will get all of these cars in.
That's right.
Commish, give us the rouges. I got to grab one more beer.
All right, rouges for the Montreal. Total amount of rouges and singles. They have 2 punt single / rouges. They have 3 rouges on field goals, so 5 total, if that's what you got there. So we are going to be moving on to the next team. It is the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
I was going to say, you got to throw some stank on it if you're going to pronounce
it. The REDBLACKS.
Make up your mind, Ottawa. Which color?
REDBLACKS.
I have also seen them listed as the Rouge Noir.
Rouge et Noir. No, it's the Rouge et Noir.
Okay.
They actually give them the and in the French?
Yes.
Oh, you get an and in here?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The Ottawa REDBLACKS are the most... When they were founded, they were the most New York Mets founding story, where they had the history of the Ottawa Roughriders. They couldn't use that name. They had the history of the Ottawa Renegades. They didn't want to use that name because the last owner wasn't going to let them use it, and they didn't really care to. So the Ottawa REDBLACKS are a organization that are built off compromises and fake identity. This is They are not technically Hamilton's biggest rival, but they are the team I hate the most.
That is like walking into that after grabbing beers. You hate them. You're like,
yeah. There's a lot of disgust in his tone. You can hear it.
But
He hates
meanwhile,
the Red Blacks.
No, you got to yell because. So here's the thing with Red Blacks. Here's some sicko stuff for you. Strictly based on the name, they made it official that Red Blacks has to be in all caps.
Yep.
Right.
Oh no, that's
So
why
by their
that's why
style
as
guide-
soon as I'm talking to him, it's like it's Ottawa Red Blacks.
That's right. It's Iowa Red Blacks. But Kate, how can you hate the wood cookie?
I hate the wood cookie. I hate the wood
there is
cookie so much.
nothing- Okay, here's why you should.
What?
What is
The
the,
wood
wood
cookie.
cookie?
The wood cookie, Pitt Girl. After the Red Blacks score a touchdown, okay, there's two people dressed in flannel that then fire up a chainsaw to a
Okay.
log with their logo on it
Okay.
and cut off a piece of this log. And
Oh,
I
God.
don't know what they do with the wood cookie, but it's like
Okay.
that to me is very CFB. Like you score,
Okay.
you got a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
couple
It's
people
Oregon
with
State
chainsaws.
kind of
had
Oregon
this for a
State.
bit.
They have
Oregon
a
State
turnover
had this for a
chainsaw.
bit.
Oregon State has a chainsaw. I'm
Yeah.
into
So
this.
this is like what was that? We would see it on ESPN. It was like the logger games or the lumberjack games or
Yeah,
whatever.
lumberjack games. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
the
was like
steel
the
yum, yeah,
speed,
the timber
It would,
sports.
they would like they just there's a guy with like a power chainsaw, and he's just like waiting for the ref to blow the whistle, and he blows the whistle, and he's like, it's like you can see him cut like 4 pieces of wood
Yeah,
in like
yeah.
in like less than 10 seconds. It was amazing.
And that's what this is. And as well, for extra sickos appeal, they have a condo building at the one end zone. So there are people that live there that can overlook the field. And the basement of the one set of stands is a hockey rink.
They are the
Nice.
third best. They are the third best team that plays in that facility at best.
Fourth best because eventually the Ottawa lacrosse team is going to play there. That's my bold prediction.
Full-
Ouch.
Full
But
hater
they're highly,
here. I love
they're
it.
highly likable. Like they have probably the most likable coaching staff out there. Bob Dice is probably one of the smartest guys I've ever had the pleasure of
I do
interviewing.
like Bob Dice. I'll give you
He
that.
used to be the special teams coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I interviewed him. And like, that is the kind of guy that if you talk to him, no matter how smart you are, you're like, I'm a dumbass. Like I am
Gotcha, yeah.
a total dumbass. Like, well respected, well liked guy. That and they are the most sickos Grey Cup champion ever. Okay, it's okay, Joey. It's okay. It's gonna be
I
fun.
didn't realize
2014, what happened?
they've won a Grey Cup. I thought
They've won a Grey Cup, yes.
Okay.
In their
Won.
second year of existence, they were like 15-3 and went to the Grey Cup game. In their third year of existence, they were 8-9-1.
Ooh, we got a tie.
We got a tie. Made it to the Grey Cup game against, I believe, a 14 or 15 win Calgary team, and
That's hilarious.
That
is hilarious.
And then that Grey Cup game was played in Toronto, and it was November in Canada, and it was a random snowstorm. So the highlights from the game include like there's snow, there's ice, and there's an 8-9-1 team holding the championship trophy
oh, that's
up
beautiful.
above their heads. It
Hell
was
yeah.
just perfection, with Henry Burris, of course, at quarterback at that time. The Temple Big East legend. So then when Burris retired, he went into broadcasting, and not sports broadcasting. He became the co-host of a local morning show, of Ottawa Morning Live on
Great
CTV.
job. Hell yeah.
Right? He spent some time, and then he went to the NFL as a quarterback's coach. He is now the OC and quarterback coach for Florida A&M.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
As I agree,
Don't
as I
root for
agree
this
with
team.
So what if I want to cheer for the traditional Yankees of Canadian football? Who am I going to cheer for?
I get.
Come to me, Jordan. We're waiting for you.
Yeah.
No, actually, right now the Yankees are okay. I've great
I
comparison.
mean, we can stay in the East for a Yankees contender here.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
and you're about to get salty, John. Which I
Hold
haven't
on.
come out today. I've been having a good time, but I've been salty.
Hold on.
This is your Ottawa for some reason.
Oh,
'cause
sorry.
this-
Sorry.
We're
you
just
guys-
Still Ottawa. I just got couple last comparisons. The team
Oh,
does
yeah,
use
sorry.
red and black, which again does match up with a lot of CFB teams. But no CFB
I
team
thought they
uses
were green.
flannel, and no CFB team has their hashtag for their social medias on their pants.
I will say the closest thing that took me to, especially the flannel, was Texas Tech.
Okay.
I went UCF. Lots of success early. super popular in the Ottawa region, but everybody kind of forgets about them in Canada sometimes. Even I'm like, oh yeah, Ottawa has a team. I forgot about that.
Gotcha.
Perfect.
So,
all right.
And their
So
rouge stats?
let's see here. The rouge stats, rouge singles. 4
did
punts.
you say La Rouge stats?
La Rouge? No.
La Rue. We're talking about
let's go with it.
Bulletproof.
I think we need La Rouge stats.
La Rouge stats. All right.
There we go. Yes, Commish.
I've been
That
there,
was
done
my-
that.
my
tossed
Cajun
around. I'm having fun. Don't put me down.
Out here. You had that Montreal going and the Cajun pronunciation started rolling. But 4 punt singles and rouges, and then 2 rouges on field goals. So total of 6 for them. So they've matched the current rouge leader of the Ticats. So we are on to
Okay.
Yeah,
the
let's
Argos.
stay in the East for
Stay in the East.
I guess this is the only team that I ever knew growing up was the
Oh, and
Argos.
I'm about to get salty here.
You should
can
be.
Ooh.
I will at least say the reason you may have heard of them. This was the team that was owned by the Triumvirate. We mentioned them on the CFL USA show a bunch because this was John Candy was part of the ownership group, and he was a big part of it. We only found out posthumously, but he was the head of the CFL expansion committee while he was the owner of the Toronto Argonauts. The Toronto Argonauts, and I should be a lot more salty than John here because they are the traditional rival of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. But one time, the awful owner of the Hamilton Tiger Cats worked out a deal to put the Tiger Cats logo at center ice at Maple Leaf Garden. So ha 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 ha.
I remember that. Yep.
They have. They're coached by Ryan Dinwiddie. They have 18 Grey Cups, a couple recently.
Boise State legend Ryan Dinwiddie.
Yes.
Exactly.
Put respect on that name. And then after that, fuck them. And the reason I say fuck them is not because of their New York Yankees like era of winning. It's because if you've been following the news at all around the CFL this year, Chad Kelly was there was some yuck going on. Chad Kelly.
Let's be a little delicate here with the Chad Kelly. We understand what happened with Chad Kelly in Old Miss.
Okay, good.
There
Good.
is-
So it was
yucky
yucky.
history, and it was kind of only like a matter of time. Like the CFL thing was kind of going a little too well, and then they had like 9 turnovers against Montreal in the playoff, and then it kind of just went like, okay, we're snap back to reality a little bit.
The other very valid reasons to hate the Toronto Argonauts, which are they have on a couple occasions recently as 2020, threatened to just leave the CFL.
Yeah,
I've heard this. Yeah,
they've
Like,
threatened.
where
They
are they
tried
gonna
to
go?
They
UFL.
tried to join the UFL, and that's because the ownership group behind them doesn't care about the history, doesn't care about the tradition. And this is the last I'll say about the Chad Kelly situation, but everybody in that organization knew what was going on, and everything Chad Kelly did or did not do, it got settled out of court today. I'm not going to accuse him of anything, but if you can tell me, if you followed him on social media at all, you followed through the CFB career, he's not the kind of guy you want leading your football team. So to me, the organization's an absolute mess right now, and that's the reason not to cheer for them, right? You got a whole bunch of people looking the other way over a bunch of ish that you know was going down, and the proof's in the pudding here. You had a whole bunch of players that left this team. You were a team that was a record-setting team this year, and everybody left. And that to me is not a sign of a team that has maybe a bad egg, maybe a bad apple, maybe this or that. That's a team that's rotten from its core. So just don't cheer for them. Although I will say they have the kicker with the best name in the CFL in Liam Haralahu.
Yugoslavian.
Former LA Ram.
The Toronto Argonauts are owned by Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment still, I believe.
Yes, they are. Yep.
But which is
begrudgingly owned by them because MLSE's biggest stakeholder is Bell, who owns TSN, who told them to buy the Argonauts so they wouldn't leave, and now they're still flirting with The Rock and the UFL.
Yeah, so I mentioned the Canada's telecoms triopoly/duopoly earlier. The MLSE is co-owned by 2 members of that triopoly. Almost makes you think maybe it's a managed monopoly, but we don't have time to get into Canadian politics talk. I will say BMO Field, fantastic place to watch.
Unbelievable place to watch.
If you do not pick the Argonauts and you do decide to make the trip up, it is a converted it was built as a soccer stadium. They've done a fantastic job putting football in there, which you do not see with a lot of converted stadiums.
Wow. I didn't realize that the Argos, I love the Argos kicker because he was like a rouge machine. But
Yes,
Boris Beatty is now with the Elks.
That's right. Boris Beatty was given the boot after pooping his pants. So
yeah, you say he had a lot of rouges. There was a reason for a lot of those rouges, which was that he forgot how to kick it between the uprights for a while.
There were good rouges and there were bad rouges.
I loved him because he did that a lot.
Boris Beatty is the bad rouge variety. This is one, save your money if you're betting on him. Like, they're getting, to me, Chad Kelly's gone at least 9 games. I think it's going to be longer. The roster basically had a mass exodus. They lost their defensive coordinator, Corey Mace, to Saskatchewan, and yet sportsbooks still have them crazy high. Like, if you could find me a good odds on them not making the playoffs, I'd buy that.
Short Argos.
Yes,
Argos.
Let's short them like the stock market. So, in terms of, they do look like North Carolina. In their
I had Columbia for them, actually.
Also Columbia, very accurate. But I feel like the CFB comparison is going to be the Florida Gators.
Oh,
okay.
After Urban Meyer.
Only because this era of Argos football is going to be looked at the same way as the Tebow Swamp Kings eras will look at. Minus a shitty documentary that glazed over all of that on Netflix. Yeah. But it very much reminds me of the famous Wario meme, the I've won, but at what cost?
Okay.
As for Toronto comparisons, I'm looking at big market with some interesting coaching history and a really nice professional stadium. And again, huge market, a lot of attention, even though the results sometimes aren't there. The immediate Pitt. I had Pitt for Toronto.
Yeah, Pitt was another one that came up in my discussions on picking one. I
Pitt media market much more credit than it deserves.
No, the Pitt media market is not that big, honestly, and the Pitt media market
it is about the same size as Toronto relative to American markets.
They seem to hate the team. Like, the local media seems to hate Pitt.
That is accurate. Yes.
Yeah, I don't no.
And you know what, Commish? The local media just ignores the Argos. So
it's all Maple Leafs.
Find a sports team that the Toronto media likes, and I will show you a team not in Toronto.
Yeah, but do you have like hockey writers just taking pot shots at the Argos for no reason?
Steve Simmons has taken a lot of shots.
I love that we both went that instantly, Joey. Like,
okay, maybe they are Pitt. Fuck.
No, yeah. Damn. Sorry about that.
They're very close to Pitt. I'm sorry, Pitt Girl.
You
get a team that's rotten to the core.
Who would be Canadian Pat Narduzzi?
I don't know.
Huh? Mike Babcock.
Oh God, no!
Yeah,
Sheldon Keefe.
No, Sheldon Keefe's too nice of a guy.
Fuck you, Pat Narduzzi. Jesus.
Jesus Christ!
I think he's Babcock.
Okay. Oh God, no! Please no. All right, we can move on to the next. Let's go to the West.
Oh, Paul Maurice.
Your stats first, sir.
Random mascot.
I need the stats.
Yeah, random mascot note here. It took them 3 tries to decide that their mascot should be named Jason.
I met Jason.
This shouldn't be hard, guys.
No,
yeah, this is not a difficult thing, y'all.
That was after Scully and Bounce. Like, whoa, boy.
Is this 1999? Like,
yeah.
Wait. What was the name of the Jason movies? Like, was it like Friday the 13th, or is that okay? I always get Jason and Freddy confused. So
fair enough.
But yeah,
they've gone from Jason to Freddy.
Nightmare on Exhibition Place.
Yes, they will come get you in your dreams right now.
Nightmare on Argo Street. But so the total amount of rouges and singles, they had 7 punt, singles, and rouges, and then had 3 rouges on field goals. Shout out to Boris Beatty,
who's now gone. You still shouldn't like
now
the Argos.
in Edmonton, so I'm kind of hyped for Edmonton.
I know. We're getting there.
If you are looking for a current athlete who was born in the Yugoslavia, the Toronto Argonauts might be your only option.
Is the mascot currently blue or not? Because I'm seeing 2 versions of the Argos mascot, one that is blue and one that is not.
It is not, but he has a giant and strong chin. It looks like every Giga Chad meme you've ever seen.
No,
on the
he
internet.
does. He has an amazing chin. It also looks like he huffs spray paint.
I think he is blue again. I think they have
Is he blue again? Do they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is he gonna dye historic, shiny, and chrome?
I mean, his
Yes,
teeth.
yes, he is.
His teeth are super shiny. He kind of looks like the guy from Fury Road. I'm just saying. Yep. It kind of looked like "Witness Me" is all
I
I'm hearing
think
from
this
this
is the
guy.
same costume that they have indeed spray painted blue. Now that I'm looking at them side by side.
Wow,
Jason,
wow.
a
But
war boy.
Jordan, I know he's promising you a good time in the back of a Pontiac Tempest, but don't.
I don't know.
Don't.
There's not a lot of great places for that in Toronto.
The chin is calling me.
Mhm,
The chin-
calling you.
The Giga Chad chin.
Strong jawline.
The Toronto police will be on you. There's not a lot of chances in the GTA to get some time alone in a Pontiac Tempest.
All right, go west, young man. Let's go.
Go
The BC Lions. Let's go all the way west, where the Jonas Brothers will be playing in the Grey Cup.
Yes,
let's go to the BC Lions. Let's do it. I don't even know any Jonas
I got
Brothers
Green
songs.
Day. I would have rather got the Jonas Brothers.
You know what? The Jonas Brothers, this is the earliest, I did some research here. This is the earliest the CFL has ever announced their halftime act.
Wow.
Second earliest was Shania Twain. So,
I mean, 1-2 right there.
Where
on my
was
list.
Shania? Where was Shania
Shania was
performing at?
Hamilton.
she was in Saskatchewan. No, sorry, it wasn't Saskatchewan. It was Hamilton. Which one was it, Joey, with the snowmobiles jumping behind her off ramps?
I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh no! Shania came in on a dog sled to perform, and then it was Headley, I think, that did the show, and there was like professional like X Games snowmobilers jumping on ramps doing backflips behind them.
That was Edmonton, I think.
Every Canadian knows where they were when Shania Twain came out. They know where they were because that was what was on TV that day.
Yes, we do. I do vividly remember that. I was hammered in my own basement.
The first Grey Cup I ever went to was the 100th Grey Cup, the first one I ever went to live, and that was the halftime show for that was Canadian Icon. It was 3 acts. The Canadian Icons Mariana's Trench were opened.
Yes,
and then it was Carly Rae Jepsen before people started to like Carly Rae Jepsen more.
Pitt Girl
who was great, and then Justin Bieber getting booed out of the goddamn Rogers Center.
Yes.
Yes.
I love this for you.
And this was in like his Baby Beebs era before he
before he got sexy and broody. Yeah,
that's right. But for the BC Lions, I have one reason why you should cheer for them.
Give me a reason.
Carl Weathers. He played for them. The legendary actor.
Shit, he did.
That's right, he did right after he graduated San Diego State.
That's right.
He went to the NFL for a little bit, then he wound up in the CFL for a couple of years, I believe.
Yeah. So great actor, had a great football career as well. For one, their marketing guys get it. 50 Cent is opening the season as their halftime performer, and they've almost sold out. 55,000.
I think they have sold out now.
They've hit it because so they're either between 50 and 55,000 people.
We love 50 Cent because he has been promoting the city of Shreveport for his business.
Has been, yes.
That's right. His G Unit business is now in Shreveport, Louisiana, and now we have a British Columbia connection.
Like my millennial ass with my aching back would definitely go if I wasn't an 18-hour drive away. As well, their starting quarterback might be the best player in the league in Vernon Adams.
Oh my god!
But he's also
he's
chaotic and fun. He's got 31 touchdowns, 18
wild.
picks, former Oregon legend, and
if not the best player in the league, he's the most player in the league.
Oregon fans would say the same thing about him being chaotic as shit. Like I remember those days. Also an Eastern Washington player, by the way.
Yes. So to me, you can get them right now. They are behind the Bombers, the Argonauts, and the Alouettes on most sports books. They are, and I alluded to this while we were being asked questions on TwitX. I would 100%. They are my shut up and take my money team. I think they've got what it takes to be a Grey Cup champion. I think the West has regressed. They're still way better than the East. I think it's regressed a little bit as a whole, but I really think that they're all in. They're in to win it at home. And they've got the good karma of 50 Cent starting it off. A great color scheme match is, as we jokingly call them, because they seem to be on TV a lot up here, the Oregon State Beavers.
Yeah, they are.
The Beavs.
Yeah,
they have
the Beavs.
They have the like black and orange, kind of like Idaho State a little bit. They have Oklahoma State chaos.
Yes,
black and orange. A little bit of Mike Gundy colors there. I mean, I really enjoy, like, BC's fun BC is
That's exactly it.
They're the only dome team in the CFL, right?
They are now.
Yes, they are now.
And okay.
And even like if you travel for a game and you hate the cold, like I'm sure most of you do, Vancouver is like the resort destination for Canada because it's never really cold. So you could go to a Grey Cup and not need to wear 17 layers.
Yeah, as much as Quebec is the France of Canada, coastal BC is the Italy of Canada.
Yes, very much so.
Sure.
You can play golf year round there, and it only gets to like +10, so you can wear shorts year round if you're Canadian, right? Speaking of Oregon, I would say they're a great CFB comparison. That or UCLA. The Seahawks are like their USC, and like LA, Vancouver's where the film industry thrives in Canada. So lots of good reasons to like the BC Lions as well. Fun fact about their kicker, Sean White. I once played virtual
Not
poker.
that Sean White.
Yeah, not that one.
Not that one.
Not the
Different
X game,
Sean
Sean White. No.
SEAN White with a Y. I once played a virtual poker game against him mid-pandemic. He's also his day job is a rescue worker. So, Jordan, fire up your Volkswagen Rabbit. This might be the match for you.
I like this. I do love the Lions.
Yeah, and I'll bring up the stadium again because as a Canadian soccer fan, the BC Place is one of the finest stadiums in Canada. It was not a retractable roof before; it was a just flat roof, and then I can't remember when they did it, but they added a fabric retractable roof later, so you do get the occasional outdoor game in BC as well.
Yes,
So
they
it's
once had
it's got a convertible top.
It
drop
does
top,
have a
baby.
convertible
It's got a
top.
drop top. Drop it down. Like,
That's right, and they once had an outdoor hockey game there
Okay.
with the roof closed.
Yeah, they had to close the roof. It was raining.
Okay, so Commish, what are our stats?
All right, we got the total amount of rouges. They had 6 punt singles in rouges, and they only had 1 rouge on a field goal. So that's 7 total. Our leader still in the rouges, if you're just looking for that, is the Argos. But apparently we're against the Argos this year.
But don't cheer for them. Don't cheer for them.
Can we slide over to Alberta now?
Oh, let's do it.
I will say that I've seen so many maps about the upcoming Stanley Cup putting Edmonton where Calgary is, and I'm dying laughing every time I see it.
Oh, it's so good. It is chaos.
It's up there somewhere. Fuck it. It's in Alberta. There can't be that many fucking cities in Alberta.
That's all right.
It's the only Canadian city that is what you would call up there.
Yes, it is.
It really is, unless you really want to go up to Fort Mac. So, are we starting at Edmonton or Calgary?
Start with Calgary.
Start with Calgary.
All right.
The SMU. Whenever we post them, everyone goes,
Yeah,
"Oh,
everyone's
why
like,
is
"Hey,
SMU
look,
playing?"
it's SMU.
Right.
Why is SMU
Right.
in Canada?"
Being as their most famous alumnus is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If you smell the Stampeders are cooking, it's nothing. They're boring as shit.
They may be the crossover team this year if things fall
yeah,
their way.
but oh my god, and they're not boring in a fun way like Iowa. They're not boring in like a single winged kind of way. They're boring because they have a quarterback that loves the 8-yard out, and somehow they get a bunch of first downs, right? Naturally, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, their whole organizations is kind of like not Toronto level unlikable, but like just sort of irritating. Like,
Gotcha.
Yeah. They're also coming off a 2-decade run of being really, really good. But I'm going to give you the single reason why you would want to be the Calgary Stampeders fan.
Okay.
They have a race at halftime against the world's fastest cow. It is a man in a cow costume who, to quote Superbad, is the fastest kid alive, who races a fan to win a prize. And the fan gets a head start behind a grown-ass man in a cow costume.
So
this is the rural freeze.
Okay, so this is the Calgary version of Beat the Freeze that the Atlanta Braves do.
Exactly.
Okay,
But like the freeze is like the skin tight suit where you can 100% see his donger.
There's like a cow suit.
This guy is in a full-on cow suit and still.
Is there
races
like
faster than
the I mean you mentioned the
There's udders. There's udders.
There's udders.
No, there are udders.
There are cow accurate udders that flap in the wind as the cow reaches maximum speed.
It's a spoiler.
So what, Beth?
It's aerodynamic.
It's a spoiler.
Yes, keeps the downforce.
Keeps the downforce as those utter nipples flap in the wind. So,
okay,
it's utterly hilarious. All right,
I can do this. Okay.
Why am I thinking about cow bras? Why is this
I feel like we could make one for the world's fastest cow. And in fairness, there's two things that are kind of cool with Calgary and horses. Not the incident we were talking about earlier with the Stampede, but they do have a horse that runs for touchdown celebrations. That's kind of cool. They got like a grass piece, like they've taken out the artificial turf and put it on grass for the horse to run on. And the Calgary Stampeders, playing in one of the very first Grey Cup festivals, were told they could not bring their horse to the party.
Okay.
They fucking brought the horse right into a hotel, rode on horseback. They're like, Calgary's here. Yeehaw!
That was at the Royal York, right? A very
hotel in Toronto.
Very, very fancy hotel. Like, this is, I think, the most expensive hotel in Toronto, and they just rode a horse into the lobby.
Which started the Grey Cup Festival.
I'm a big fan of like the Calgary like Saddle Dome. Like just that is like the most like sickos, I guess, NHL arena, which I don't know if it's still being used for it.
It is.
I love that place.
It's
so
very
ridiculous.
much most sickos arena.
And it very much has the most terrifying walk to the broadcast booth you'll ever have in your life. You walk up some stairs, and to get to the broadcast booth, you have to walk across scaffolding, which is directly above the ice or floor level.
Whoa.
And you walk around the scoreboard. Like, as you walk by, you feel the heat of the scoreboard. And, like, it is terrifying. I can tell you, Jordan, I can tell you, if I wasn't paid, if it wasn't part of my job to do lacrosse broadcasts back in the day, I never would have gone up there. And part of the reason I retired was going up there twice a year. It is terrible. It is terrifying.
Man. I would do that so fast. I would love that.
Beth, if I come out of retirement, you can do my Calgary Roughnecks games for me, okay?
Have you?
I'm moving.
You guys have seen Calgary's flag, right? You've seen Calgary's flag.
Calgary's flag is the best.
Calgary's got a great
It's
flag.
the best city flag in Canada, and I'm saying that as someone who lives close to Toronto.
Yeah,
what if Colorado was Arby's?
Right.
Whoa, you got a picture of the scaffolding? Holy crap, Joey.
I think the Devils broadcast this year took a video of them going up it. It does look terrifying. It looks like you're going up. It looks like you're about to jump off the roof.
Yeah.
I love this. Yes.
No,
like,
no.
I've been in the scaffolding, like in the area of the like Louisiana Superdome, which is now the Caesars Superdome.
Yeah.
Which that is like incredibly terrifying. So like this seems like nothing, like to me, because I've been in that ridiculous.
Well, good.
Like,
Then you can have all of mine.
Like,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Like I was like, okay, that's not that far. Like the Louisiana Superdome in like the corner where the press box is. It's nothing compared to this, but this is still insane.
I think the only difference here is there's no chance you're going to fall through the ground at the Superdome. Here it's ice. There's a chance you just crash through it.
Yeah, or land on lacrosse turf and leave a bloody mess. Okay, so we've decided if I do road games again for the Rush, Beth and Commish are the new broadcast.
Absolutely.
You got me. I am at home in the Saddle Dome.
Since they tore down the Civic Arena, I've been looking for a chance to like reenact the sudden death catwalk scene for some time now.
I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme made the save to save the Penguins there. For real.
So we're saying that they're SMU.
SMU is a good comparison. I mean, they look like Utah and Cornell.
I was gonna say SMU with Houston's colors.
They have a taste of Iowa only because John Huffnagel is Kirk Ferentz. Like I feel like
Houston.
Like Huffnagel's been around, so
they've got Dave Dickinson as their coach now, right?
They do, but Huffnagel's still around as like team president. They won't let him leave.
That's
I will say,
Wisconsin.
I wish we had Bridget here because Dave Dickinson won the Natty with Montana when he was a player.
Oh, there you go.
Before coming to Canada and then back to the with a brief cup of coffee for the San Diego Chargers in the NFL.
I like how you had to think about the league there.
Okay.
San Diego Chargers in the
UFL. That is, you can tell where my brain has been on this podcast. The NFL comes third.
That's accurate as to our motto. Yes.
All right.
So Commish, yeah.
Shout out to Doug Flutie playing for the Stampeders for like a little bit. I remember that.
Yes.
Total amount of rouges and singles. They had 5 punt singles and rouges. They had none on field goals, which was weird. They had none. So if you want missed field goals for a point, Calgary is not your team.
Rene Paredes is actually a pretty good kicker. He's not Sean White or Sergio Castillo, but he's up there. So
He's up there.
So let's go north then and talk about the Edmonton Elk.
14
Elks.
Grey Cups. So this might be if you want a New York Yankees style team, Jordan.
Okay.
Chris Jones is highly unlikable, so that's
Okay.
very Yankees. They
We
win a
don't
bunch.
like Brett Boone. Perfect.
Exactly. I'm a Red Sox fan, man. Don't get me started
there you
on
go,
Brett
yeah.
Boone.
Right.
All right, or let's not talk any Boones on here.
Okay.
And
Ethan Boone.
to speak of, they also have a wrestler as the most famous alumni, that being the Tribal King Roman Reigns.
Okay.
They've done a really good job of having. Last year they had a concert series of like younger, more millennial artists that came and played, so that was very cool.
Okay.
Edmonton's a very cool city too, and not just in temperature wise.
It is, but the downside is, if you think the Toronto sports media is bad, the Edmonton sports media is awful. To the
They wanted
point,
to trade McDavid 2 years ago.
I know, to the point that the Edmonton sports media got ripped on a Hockey Night in Canada broadcast by Kevin Bieksa, and all of Canada just kind of went, yeah, they're kind of dog shit. You're right. Like, there was no like controversy or anything. He's like, I call them the Edmonton Meat because they're that bad. And those same assholes cover the Edmonton Elks. So
I will say,
Oh.
if we're talking about Edmonton media, and I know he's not a media person per se, Dustin Nielsen,
love Dusty. Absolutely love Dusty.
the best play-by-play guy in the league, usually does Edmonton games.
Yeah,
Is he
actually
the one
does.
that does like the crazy like sickos
He's
call?
the
like,
what just happened guy.
he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"What
yeah.
just happened?" Okay, yeah, he rules.
yeah.
He rules. He's
He-
amazing.
He actually he got blown out or got laid off as Bell Media got rid of TSN Edmonton, started his own sports talk company that's been very successful, and he does CFL as well. So
Nice.
for Sickos content, they're also very good as they always find ways to elk it up, right? They somehow went on a 22
elkening.
game. That's right. They went on a 22 game home losing streak.
It was
well aware.
that was
Well aware.
brutal.
We were
Oh
following.
yeah, it was so bad. They'll control, like, even looking at the preseason game against Saskatchewan, they absolutely were taking it to the Roughriders, and they still found a way to lose. So
Impressive.
like they are impressive. They once gave up on the final play of the game, and I was there against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They gave up a 99-yard passing touchdown to Milt Stiegel with no time on the clock to lose a football game.
That's impressive.
And that's just how they lose.
They were responsible last year for my favorite sports media moment at all, which was, do you remember? I think it was the game against Winnipeg, so you might remember this. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was the rouge, the walk-off rouge almost, I think.
That was against Saskatchewan.
That was,
but, I'm talking about they were during their big home losing streak. I think it was the Winnipeg game where they took a halftime lead, and the entire halftime show, which was Cape Burness. Who's the TSN crew? It's Cape Burness, Milt Stiegel, the Birmingham Barracudas guy.
Yeah.
Dunnigan? Or Matt Dunnigan?
Yeah, Matt Dunnigan and Davis Sanchez, who needs to be blasted into space already.
But the entire halftime show was just them staring at the camera in absolute befuddlement. And then Kate Burness said, "We all expected this, right?" Cut to commercial. That was the entire halftime show.
It was brilliant. And then Winnipeg put in their backup quarterback and came back and won from being 4 touchdowns down.
That's
I do remember that.
amazing.
Drew Brown,
I remember
who's
that.
down with the Ottawa REDBLACKS, won that one. So some great comparisons here. Okay,
Okay.
they are very much Nebraska.
Oh
Okay.
no.
They
Okay,
were once
okay.
they were once the New York Yankees, the very pinnacle of it, and now they're just a dumpster fire and a tire fire in the middle of a burning garbage dump.
Okay.
They're like Nebraska if Austin, Texas was somehow in Nebraska.
Ooh.
And
People have been trying to sell me on Omaha as if it were Austin in Nebraska. Y'all, I don't think you know what Austin is.
No,
and
you don't.
I think they're going to be our Rouge leader too. I know for sure they're our current Rouge leader. I haven't looked down in my notes because I haven't looked at them since last week.
I think they are.
And on brand for that, they have 2 mascots. They have
Okay.
a deer mascot named Spike, and they also have an anthropomorphic football named Punter.
Oh
sorry?
my god!
Yes,
What?
I'm
yes.
sorry.
I need to see Punter.
You
They used to, and they
go
used
to the
have,
chat, my friend.
I'm going. Holy
It's a
crap!
potato.
I did think he was a potato before you
It's
told me it was
the,
a
it's the
football.
Canadian
Oh, no.
Yes.
Funny
That-
Buddy.
And
that
again,
is-
He does
Punter.
look like Funny Buddy.
And his name is Punter.
Oh my God, you don't have to.
Spuddy Buddy with face paint.
The funny thing is they actually used to have a polar bear until they changed from Eskimos to elk. So now they have a giant elk. But Punter's just never really gone away.
Yeah,
so,
he's a Joshi football.
Yes,
or a Joshi potato.
Commish, I definitely can hear you opening the back door, or if you get the coupe version, the side door of your Subaru Baja to get in the back seat with the Edmonton Elks.
I mean, maybe because again, they got color scheme matches for Oregon, North Dakota State, but they don't play like them. Their total amount of rouges they have.
Wait till you see what those antlers can do.
Oh God!
Oh, that's right. Get in here. They will pop your airbag.
He's
9 punt singles and rouges.
That's another mascot.
Yeah.
9 punt singles and rouges, 4 on field goals. That's 13 total rouges.
Yeah, that they are.
And they also lost the game on a walk-off rouge, essentially.
They sure did. And it was magical and chaotic and fun.
Yes.
Their elk mascot kind of has a new metal goatee. Like, he looks like a new metal bassist.
He does.
I mean, new metal is coming back. Limp Bizkit's selling out shows. Like,
no, I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that.
The Zoomers have terrible taste.
100 Gex came out with a new metal song last album, and it was great.
All I know is I would wear my knee brace and my hip brace and my bicycle shorts that have the padding in the ass to go watch Limp Bizkit again live.
That's right.
I did it first. Not going back there. I refuse to go back to that part.
Right. You can't go back to the new metal days. Can't do it.
Let's go to
Lincoln Park.
Let's go to probably the most college football team in the league.
What did you call it? Like New England Bark? Or
Lincoln Park. POD and Lincoln Park.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's right.
That's a little past Commish's age. Commish is a little too old for Lincoln Park.
What? No way. Totally Lincoln Park. I
want to hear you sing some bars of Numb Now, Commish.
God, no.
Okay. Well, man, I can't feel you there.
Can we get Cajun, Commish? So the most college football team in the CFL, I think it's Saskatchewan.
Yes, 100%. 1,000,000%.
So this is one of 3 Roughriders?
Hey. No, well,
this is the OG.
If you count San Antonio from the CFL USA, they were the Roughriders for like 3 seconds before they made them change it to, I think, the Texans or something.
Right, because you can't have 3 teams named Roughriders.
That'd be ridiculous.
And to be fair,
South Park made a joke about that, and that was amazing.
Roughriders.
Roughriders.
But the difference is the Ottawa Roughriders were 2 words. Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Right. Okay. That's legally.
And then DMX joined the CFL, and they were also the Roughriders.
Yes, with the
Teddy
RUFF
Roosevelt
on that
sued
one.
them all for trademark infringement.
Right.
The reason is it used to be 2 different leagues, East and West. That's why it wasn't a problem until like the 50s.
I know, but it's still weird that 2 teams simultaneously name themselves the Roughriders. Because all I think of is gas station vending machines when I hear that.
All I think it's, for me, Roughriders is a very Texas thing because Teddy Roosevelt founded the Roughriders in San Antonio. So there's a lot of shit around here that's called the Roughriders. So for me, it's a very Texas thing. So to hear it up north weirds me out.
And it's funny too because like they all the touristy countries have it figured out that if you put that S on anything, people will buy it. Like anytime I've been down to Mexico, Cuba, whatever, you see the vendors and it's like you've got the Saskatchewan S plastered on a coconut and you got tourists just like shut up and take my money. You got the ponchos, you got everything. Like they got it figured out. Like that's how passionate and crazy this fan base is. Like
the Why Not A house, was that a Saskatchewan house or an Edmonton house?
Which one was that, Joey?
The Why Not A. The
Why Not A?
The one where the lady, I remember it was green, so it was either Saskatchewan or Edmonton, but
yes,
her whole house that, and the interview, she asked why she did, they asked why she did, and she said, why not, eh?
Why not, eh? Oh, yes, that was Saskatchewan. That was 100% Saskatchewan, because, yeah, she loved that. Honestly, top 3 fan base in the league, I would argue almost top 1. It's dwindled a bit just because there's been a bit of chaos this past couple of years, but along with Winnipeg and Hamilton, I will give you guys credit, Joey. Like absolute best fan bases in the league. There's like bars you'll walk into on a game day. It's funny. My real job is in the car industry, and snow won't shut sales down.
Yeah.
Rain won't shut sales down. If you are trying to sell cars in Saskatoon on the day of a Roughriders game, you might as well close the doors. Like, there is just like commerce grinds to a halt. You go to Costco on Rough Rider game days because that's the best day to go, right? And they've only won 4 times, so nobody's going to accuse you of being a filthy bandwagon hopper. Now, the only downside is, if you try to join Rough Rider fan groups, specifically on Facebook, it's very full of very old, cranky people that are like posting accidental photos of their shoes on Facebook.
Gotcha.
So, like, and I say this as a Winnipeg fan, but I do think they could be sneaky, and they got some juicy odds for Grey Cup champions here.
Okay.
Trevor Harris, their starting quarterback, is coming back. Broke his leg, so it's not like a knee injury, a back injury, something like that takes time to rehab from. He's big into the TB12 method, so the guy looks to be in great shape. They signed the CFL's best running back, AJ Ouellette, who, believe it or not, guys, not Canadian.
Huh.
Oh.
His last name is Ouellette, not actually
The
Canadian.
French?
He's from Ohio.
Okay.
Oh.
What?
Oh, of the Ohio Alouettes, of course. Sorry.
Yes,
The Ohio
yes,
Alouettes.
Him and Harris decided for shits and giggles to drive to training camp from Ohio to here in Saskatoon, where they hold camp. No, it was not a Amphicar Model 770 or Fiat Multipala. I don't know what they drove, but they drove all the way there. It's chaos ball. They've got Mario Alford is maybe the best punt returner in the league.
Action. Who went
And
to the Bobcats? in
AJ
Ohio.
Oh, no shit. No shit. He was in Ohio, wasn't he? That's
He
right.
was at Ohio, the Bobcats.
And-
AJ Ouellette was the hey diddle diddle run the ball up the middle guy, because he's not a go outside running back. He's a run the ball up the goddamn middle running back, and he put up some good numbers last year doing that.
And
He's
he
taking
dabbles.
everything from the inside, you know.
He dabbles in pro wrestling.
Okay.
How does one dabble in pro
He
wrestling?
has found a way to both simultaneously show up in independent pro wrestling events and actually take hits and pull off moves and have matches while simultaneously playing professional football in Canada.
Yeah, this isn't Pac-Man Jones going to TNA and leapfrogging. He's actually taking bumps.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
I've seen the guy go through a table in the
He's
offseason.
definitely trying to find somewhere he belongs.
I mean, a lot of Bills fans do that.
I was going to say Buffalo.
Right.
Buffalo's where he belongs.
Right,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
mean, you also don't want to see your star running back going through a table in the middle of the season. So
It's
he
true.
does keep the table shit to the offseason, which is great.
Nice.
Best CFB comparison here is Notre Dame.
Okay.
All the attention.
I was
great
going to say
fans.
Michigan.
Yeah, but
Whoa!
Michigan's won. Michigan's won lately, and Michigan's won a lot.
Yeah, pre-championship Michigan.
Yes. Pre-championship Michigan is the perfect comparison.
Wow.
Current Notre Dame is the perfect comparison,
Okay.
or BYU, but you can't drink at BYU. And I
It's
can tell
interesting.
you, holy shit, do they drink at Riders games? Holy shit, have I drank at
Okay,
Riders?
I need to get my ass to Saskatchewan. Okay, let's go.
Apparently
It
so.
is-
Well,
Honestly-
it's interesting because your initial description of them had me thinking Iowa State. This is very
Ooh.
Iowa
It's
State.
not impossible for them to be
It's-
Iowa
no,
State.
They
I'll-
drink
I'll
a
tell
ton
that.
of Busch Light there.
It had me
And-
thinking UCLA, actually.
God.
Ooh, okay.
And the stadium's
Saskatchewan
beautiful.
Regina is in fact the Los Angeles of
The
Saskatchewan.
stadium's
Many people
beautiful,
know
so
this.
maybe a little Rose Bowl-esque.
Oh,
There-
it is.
uh-huh.
Oh.
It is like if so.
It's the
the
city that
government-
rhymes with fun, of course.
They raised the team itself raised $150 million to build the stadium, and the government gave them $150 million as well. They got the stadium designer that built Jerry World, and this thing is literal football.
Oh, I have seen
perfection.
this. It is
Canadian-
beautiful.
The Canadian
It is
Jerry
beautiful.
World. Okay.
It-
Oh,
it
without,
is.
but
Arkansas?
like
The-
on
the-
a like on a
Ooh,
huge
Arkansas,
scale.
actually, yeah.
Oh, Arkansas.
Also a very good pick. So it is the place if you're coming up, if you've never seen a CFL game before in your life, go to one of the rivalry games against Winnipeg.
Banjo
And-
Bowl.
The Labor Day Classics in Regina, Banjo Bowl's in Winnipeg.
Right, sorry.
Just the stadium. If you tell people, if you're like, we came up from the States for this game, you won't pay for a drink the whole night. Even if you're
Gotcha.
wearing Bombers gear. Like, it's the fan base is such a vibe. They're so easy to like. And again, they haven't won a lot, so they're almost like, they got a bit of a Cubs vibe to them. Bit of a lovable loser vibe
Okay.
that you
So-
can't like
Yeah.
even at Winnipeg, our biggest rival is Saskatchewan. But as my father-in-law once said, he's like, if the Bombers folded up shop tomorrow, who would you cheer for? probably Saskatchewan.
I mean, the folks
that-
at Point
okay,
of Gas
that's-
got me rooting for Saskatchewan too. So,
And the thing with Saskatchewan as well is, and this is sort of the thing with the CFL in the East versus West thing, and I'm saying this as a fan of a CFL East team, is that I don't think the league as it stands exists without the CFL West teams, even though they're much smaller markets, because I mean, Regina's the example of this, where it is the game in town. Like, this is, if you look, you always see those maps of the different countries by which sport's their favorite.
Yeah.
If you did that by provinces, I would say Saskatchewan's probably the only one that has football as their number one.
Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah, and you can find and make it a very sickos thing to start looking for rider gear at any game of anything. You will find it.
Yep.
fantastic.
Okay, so then sell me on your team. Oh, sorry, Commish.
Oh, hold on.
Give me your
All right,
stats.
let's the final one. Color scheme matches. They got they have an awesome like blackout gear, which is kind of like a
They
really
do.
dark green that they just introduced. Which is
Oh my god,
the
it's so
obsidian.
good.
It is
Yeah,
really
that obsidian
good.
green is
And then that
so
S
good.
on that helmet is phenomenal. Typically it's Michigan State, Dartmouth, maybe a little bit of Eastern Michigan. So total
Little
amount
Marshall,
of
North Texas.
Marshall,
Yeah.
North Texas. Jordan, they may be filling your North Texas.
Man, North
there.
Texas is hell bent on that fucking awful green right now, though.
I mean, this,
Oh no,
this is a
they've
good
made
green.
this a way better green. Like put
Way
it this way,
better
you could
green.
wear, you could rock that obsidian jersey.
Okay,
Like that
okay,
obsidian
okay.
jersey
Oh,
they came
yeah,
out with
it's
is
good.
unbelievably good.
And the thing with Saskatchewan's color scheme is they're a green and white team. They're not a green and black team. They're a
Gotcha,
green and
gotcha.
white team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Although
So-
they've made magic with black and dark green alternates. Like it's just they've got some good people designing their unis.
They do. Total amount of rouges and singles. They had 6 on the punt version of the singles and rouges. Shout out to Adam Korsak, the former Rutgers punter, is there for Saskatchewan. And then they have 3 rouges on field goals. So that's 9 total. That would make them basically, I think, our second most.
I believe so.
No,
Yeah.
Argos are second. So they're our third most.
But the Argos don't exist this year.
The Argos don't count. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We are breaking the habit. There are no Argos.
So then, sell me on your team then, John. Sell me on Winnipeg.
Welcome to Winnipeg, the
Oh,
second
yeah.
loudest, craziest fan base in the West. We've won a bunch of Grey Cups. We've also been the vice champions a whole bunch too. Coached by Mike O'Shea, who is by far the best coach in the league right now.
Yeah.
My favorite player, and this is, I feel like the biggest reason I'm here, is a kicker in Sergio Castillo. I sent everybody that has access to the Sickos account needs to watch him promoting the games. I sent you that Instagram. West Texas A&M, easily my
Oh,
favorite player in the
God.
league. 10 out of 10 home and being.
A buffalo from
Yes.
Canyon, Texas. Very near and dear to our 72-ounce steak hearts.
Yes, true.
Of course. So he is exactly like that's the kind of guy you want to root for. He's looking awesome. If you want to root for them, so now is the time to jump on the bandwagon. They've brought
Got it.
back the same core. They've had a New England Patriots vibe for the last few years, minus any controversy, anything like that. We'd have more wins and not be vice champions, but the CFL's number one player, Zach Collaros, likes to disappear in the playoffs. Fun fact,
God,
I'm
I hate
tired of
Zach
pretending
Collaros.
I'm tired of pretending he doesn't disappear in the postseason. I'm so angry
No,
about
it's fine. Yeah, no, he does that.
He absolutely does that. I'm glad that you guys see that. Nobody in Canadian media does, and it wasn't until I started putting out the stats that people started noticing that.
Here's my Zach Claros thing, is that he was terrible with Hamilton, he was terrible with Saskatchewan, and now he's good with Winnipeg. I hate him. He was not good for my team, now he's good for another team. I will say, though, if you are one of the people who follow our account from when we went bonkers and posted Swifty takes one day, Zach Claros, friend of Travis Kelce.
Yes, he was. He actually was at one of the games. And again, things that made national news in Canada. He was at one of the games, hanging out with Taylor Swift in the booth.
I remember
From all
that.
accounts, like lovable guy, great guy. TSN just named him the number one player in the league. They shouldn't have. I don't get it. And I'm saying this as a Winnipeg fan. But
He's a great regular season quarterback, and he was fine last year. He had his best playoffs ever last year, which was fine.
no, you know what's funny, Joey? Did you know, fun fact, he has not thrown a touchdown pass in a playoff game in his last 4 playoff games.
He
Two of
keeps
those
getting
games being
hurt in the
Grey Cups.
playoffs is the problem.
It
He
feels
just-
like
he just
he's a little bit of Peyton Manning here. Is that
yeah.
what is going on?
Yes, boom, done. Peyton
The
Manning.
Cincinnati
So-
version of Peyton Manning.
Canadian Peyton Manning. is
Skyline
Zach
Manning.
Collaros.
That's such a cursed sentence.
Yep.
Skyline Manning.
Jesus Christ.
The problem is, if you're jumping on the bandwagon now, Jordan, they're razor thin, right? This is a veteran team that keeps running back and running it back and running it back.
Okay.
And at some point, it's going to be one too many times. They're looking, if you watch them the preseason,
gotcha.
it's not great. So for a CFB comparison here, I would have liked to say Michigan, because that would mean that playoff Zach wouldn't have shown up.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say they're more like Ohio right now. They're really good, but few too many losses. But
it's like
no, they're definitely the Ohio.
No, I'm
Bobcats.
gonna take Ohio from what he said.
Okay.
Not Ohio State. No, you're fine.
Right. So they're very much like much like the Riders, much like the Tiger Cats. Great fan base. The team by every sports book is the favorite to be back there this year. But to me, it all comes down, like, put it this way. Their biggest offseason signing was a backup quarterback in Chris Streveler. Now, Chris Streveler, especially here in Canada, runs
Gorgeous
a lot
human
of
being.
like, oh yeah, total man rocket. Like, oh my God. Like I'm 100% straight. But if Chris Streveler asked, I'd think about it.
I'm just gonna post the Chris Streveler picture in our group chat. You know what picture I'm talking about.
I know exactly, the fur coat,
Okay,
the cowboy
yeah.
hat, oh yeah, no, I would have a hard time saying no. But needless to say, highly likable team. They're probably gonna win. The problem is when they lose. Pitt Girl, I saw the photo. I like it. You might be jumping on the Winnipeg bandwagon, or at least if I can promise you some time with Chris Streveler in the back of a Toyota Tercel. Okay. So,
it's okay. In the end, it doesn't even matter.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's the first time you guys caught it. He's done that 4 times.
Sneaking them in.
All right. Well, I like the Linkin Park reference. That also wins it over for me. So
it's okay. I want to run away.
There's a chance they're going to mitigate bad Zach by having Streveler there. Incredible fan base. It's a great club to cheer for, and we're about to enter some dark days, so you can come enjoy the pain with me as
Here's
we get
the window.
We're going to get in the back of a Nissan Sentra, and we'll just cry on each other's shoulders as the window is being slammed shut.
I know we're supposed to be picking college football teams for this to be similar to, but this is giving Pittsburgh Penguins. This is very Penguins.
Oh,
Penguins, Steelers.
Oh, you're correct. Yeah, 100% you're correct.
God, I'm feeling like Buffalo Bills, kind of.
Except we win.
Oh, the Bills' window is closed, my friends.
Yes.
But I mean, like,
gone.
do you're like, they got rid of a lot of players, and then you're like, they're still trying to run it back with the quarterback, and it's like, it's given a little,
This is the last year for Winnipeg to have the shot. I don't think they're going to be bad after this year, but there's also I wouldn't be surprised if Streveler's the quarterback by the end of the year. This Winnipeg team, whenever we post games involving Winnipeg, this is the team that everyone always goes, "Oh, Washington's playing today."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Blue Washington, yes.
So yeah, blue and gold. Honestly, simultaneously one of the best jerseys ever in the league, and also when they came out this weird like camo blue jersey with a giant W on the front that removed the gold. Also the league's worst jersey, to answer one of the questions we received on Twitter. But yeah, the new Royal Blues, they're sexy, they're sweet. I have a Sergio Castillo one. I suggest you do as well. So there is the case for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and really the case for all 9 CFL teams.
Yeah,
true. Also, the Blue Bombers, only 2 punt singles, and only 1 rouge on field goals. So maybe they're kind of pushing you away from.
Well, no, Sergio Castillo is just that good.
Nice one.
Sergio's just that good.
Sergio is automatic.
Sergio is automatic. So the Texas A&M boy, who again watched the reel I sent you with him hyping up the game and saying Coors Light.
Is there another Texas A&M kicker like Seth Smith somewhere?
Not anymore off the top of my head.
Okay, I think there was like 2 A&M.
The thing with Winnipeg is they got so close to that three-peat, and now it's been a couple of years since then. They're still good, but like it's got to start feeling like they need a cure for the itch, because they're really, really close to running out of time.
Yeah, but they do remind me, and like I can't be that upset.
Seth Small was who I.
There we go.
Is he with the Ticats or is he done?
Let's check it. But I can't be that mad because they are.
He's on the suspended list.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
That's not, I don't know what that means. Oh my God, I don't know what
Seth
I mean.
Small, 1 for 1 on field goals in his career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats from Katy, Texas.
The Bombers defense last year, though, I mean, like, especially when they played against Hamilton, and Hamilton at some points last year with Orlando Steinauer, they couldn't get anything going. It was like getting a paper cut between your fingers. Like, there was absolutely nothing you could get there. Commish, I think we have now finished the hybrid theory track list.
Oh, that's okay.
That is incredible. I can't believe I didn't pick that up.
We are one step closer to the end of the podcast, so it's okay.
And I'm about to break.
Break into your new favorite CFL team, Beth.
Oh!
I wish we could end it on I'm about to break, but we do have to do ad reads.
It's fine. I'm gonna record the ad separately. It's fine.
Sure, if that happens, it doesn't happen. Who knows? We may or may not have ads. Sign up for the Home Field subscription box. Join our Patreon. Whatever.
Explore the endless bounds of space with all new LEGO building sets. From engineering wonders like LEGO Technic NASA Apollo Lunar Roving Vehicle to astronaut dog walkers, there is a perfect LEGO set for everyone on Earth. First launched in 1978, space sets have been igniting people's curiosity through the ultimate creative medium of LEGO bricks. Their newest collection is sure to propel the wonder for exploration and adventure across the galaxies. Be inspired by LEGO sets that are out of this world. Visit Amazon.com/LEGO Space to see the full collection.
Tidy Cats knows that home is where your cat is. So they've designed the Tidy Care Alert health monitoring cat litter with your furriest feline in mind. Here's the inside scoop. Litter plays an important role in your cat's health, happiness, and well-being. Tidy Care Alert uses pH technology and color-changing crystals that are gentle on the paws to monitor your cat's health and alert you of any potential concerns. It's the perfect tool to help you ensure your cat gets the care it needs. Put your mind at ease and let Tidy Care Alert help you keep an eye on your cat's health.
Hey everyone, Jordan here to jump in the middle of the episode to talk about some of the things we do. First off, always check out our link tree on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky to see all of our partners. You can get special deals on certain things. Also, we have our Patreon for $5 a month. You can join us in our Discord where we talk about, whatever at this point. We put together our new projects, things like that. We also have things like our 3 different Patreon subscription podcasts, including Commish's Corner, Yes, Rah, 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 Yes, and the Prairie View Chronicles. We have our paid Substack as well. You get access to those Patreon podcasts there as well, but not the Discord, which is why we have the Patreon. Our merch store is now open at sickoscommittee.org. This is our soft launch. So we have a bunch of stuff there that's new for this season, including some of our Pride merch. Everything we sell in the Pride merch, all the profits will be going straight to the Trevor Project. So if you want to support them, go ahead and pick up some things there or just donate directly, either way. We just thought it would be nice to have you guys get some stuff for Pride as well. We have our YouTube channel, which includes our shorts, including things that are animated from the podcast. We have our Instagram. We also have our Substack, like I said, which includes for free our best season of all time for teams who stopped having football. Commish just worked on UC San Diego, which only had 1 year of football. It's a really interesting story. Shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They go to the places we refuse to go because I don't want to go into those places. And lastly, Home Field Apparel. Use offer code yes, 3 ha's for 15% off your first order. And you still have a little time left to sign up for the summer box. They are bringing out the best mascot selection that I've ever seen, including the Evergreen State Gooey Ducks, the UTSA Roadrunners, the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks, and a bunch of other things. I think their first shirt is the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs. So if you're interested in that, you get a deep discount, only $20 a shirt for those 7 shirts as opposed to the usual cost. So go ahead and pick that up as soon as possible because those subscription boxes will be closing soon. And now back to the podcast.
Thank Fraser, John Fraser, coming on the Sickos Committee podcast. We definitely do appreciate that. It's amazing. It was incredibly Canadian.
That's what I hope to bring.
I don't even know. This podcast was.
We gotta hit the quota.
Clearly Canadian.
The Tragically Hip, Coffee Crisp,
ketchup chips, all dressed chips.
Honestly,
a lot of chip-based content.
There was so many Canadian references that I've become so numb. I can't
yeah.
feel them there. But
I
yeah,
hate you.
so yes,
we were
There
doing
we go.
hybrid theory.
I moved on to the next album, sir.
Done. Bye. I hate everyone.
Well, you said I didn't listen to Linkin Park.
I'm gonna faint .09.
Oh, nice. I think
Okay.
I had .09 beers tonight.
Well, hopefully you have enjoyed the Sickos Committee podcast and you have found somewhere you belong.